Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Octane Online Racing. We're back, and it's round 5 at Laguna Seca today with the Simrigs Sprint Series. Looking forward to rounding out the season, the final season of this year. And it's going to be a great one at Laguna Seca. Nice and hot out on track. And we're going to be talking a few things before we get into today's qualifying. And we're going to start out today with a little bit of a throwback to the recent Spa 24 Hours held by Octane Online Racing with the sponsorship and backing of Permobil as well. It's the livery competition that we have all looked forward to. We're going to announce the results very, very soon. But first, a big shout out to the man who created the intro for our Spa 24 Hours. And we're actually going to show it again because it's just such good work. Let's go to that now and we'll be back with the results. That is an absolutely epic intro video, so thank you to all the hard work that went into the making of that video. And of course, Spa 24 Hours is going to be ringing around our memories for a long time to come indeed, because it was a fantastic event. And a big thank you, of course, to Permobil and the OOR team for putting that on. But now let's get to our livery competition. Livery, I'm going to get hit up about that in chat, I'm absolutely sure. Let's go to, well, let me talk about that first. We've got 3 categories that we've had, a Permobil pick, an Octane Online Racing pick, and then the community pick, which was available for voting for the last week or 2. So we're going to go through all of those, and then some honorable mentions as well. Let's jump over to our Permobil pick first. And congratulations to the 587 Pro category team, the Group B Garage, and they had a brilliant livery there on their McLaren, and excellent work from them. So congratulations to them. Oh, Lucas Keys already hitting me up about my pronunciation of livery. But nonetheless, we've got Sweet, Burst, Floyd, Reynolds, Lamb, and Cooley, who were in the car for the entire 24 hours. Congratulations to them, of course. I saw them pass me quite a number of times out on track and was admiring the livery, so big congratulations to them. They are the Permobil pick for this. And I have to make sure that we mention the prize that is going to be given out to all of the winners for all the picks, the 3 top picks, essentially. And that is going to be a poster of their car, and that is all sponsored and done by Permobil. So a huge thank you to Permobil as well for the prizes. But congratulations to the team under the 587 banner. Massive work. And now I get the pleasure of introducing our co-commentator tonight, our other commentator, I should say, and Alexis Bowen. Alexis.
Hello, George. It is great to be here for the final round of the Simrigs Sprint Series tonight, and we are looking at some wonderful liveries here. Yeah, no, that Permobil pick was very good as we see the Octane choice, and congratulations to the 999 Laundry House McLaren team of Britt, Gallo, and Rayton. It is a stunner of a livery every time I see it, no matter the car, and it is greatly deserved of the Octane choice here for the Permobil Spa 24-hour livery competition.
Brilliant. And now on to our community choice. And that is going to be the 818 car here, another pro category car, Alpha Venturi Racing. So congratulations for winning the community award. They got the most votes out of everyone. So Smith, Houlihan, Pignata, Ruckmart, Madison, and Hobbs. Big congratulations to all three winners per mobile of the mobile pick, the Octane pick, and the community pick. Big congratulations. Well done. You will be getting contacted by the admins at OOR, I'm sure, very, very soon, and getting organized a fantastic prize in the poster you will have of your beautiful, beautiful cars. Big congratulations. And now we do have 3 honorable mentions. So back to you, Alexis.
Yeah, so our first honorable mention is the GSR Esports 711 car of the Ferrari there with Taufik, Fard, Zahaili, Kairudan, Vasper, and Zayazwan Saifik. That it is quite an interesting concept, and normally those colors wouldn't work, but I think the way that it's been designed, it does make it stand out quite a bit, and well worth the honorable mention.
Couldn't agree more. I believe it's an endurance livery of some kind. Nonetheless, moving right along, 555 car here of OES Orange team with Carter Sitherwaite, Kale, Wilson, and Koza in the car. Fantastic job there with the, I'm not even sure quite what they are, but I'm pretty sure they're oranges on the side of the car. And well done to them. Thank you very much, Oranges. Agreed.
Yes, and then we have one last honorable mention to get through, and that is the 111 Rockets Evolved Castrol livery with Johnson, Kong, Ty, Smith, Lee, and Gales. Oh, any Castrol livery you look at is always going to be fantastic, and this is no exception. So, again, well worth the honorable mention.
Absolutely agreed. So there are your results, everyone, for the PoMobile Spa 24-hour livery competition. And of course, a big thanks once again to PoMobile for sponsoring the prizes for all the teams that did pick up wins in their categories. And congratulations to all the drivers. Congratulations to the livery makers, because honestly, when I got that community award vote and I had to vote myself, not for myself, but vote myself, it was a tough pick. There are a lot of great liveries out there, and I'd like to make a shout out for the safety car livery as well. It's clean, it's beautiful, well done. So we're going to now transition over to your sprint series for today, because we've got the 3-minute countdown happening now towards qualifying, and we're going to be getting started at Laguna Seca in a matter of minutes. Like I said earlier, it's myself, George Cook, and Alexis Bowen in the commentary booth tonight with Glenn Germain, of course, on the tools in the background, doing a legendary job. Fortunately, we're not joined by Sean Muller today, as the graphic did say. He has had a couple of big days, so he's going to be stepping out for this one at the end of the year. But I'm sure we'll be hearing him back in the commentary box in next year once we get the new series going. So, Alexis, Laguna Seca, mate, final round of the season. That's a fun combo.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I very much like Laguna Seca as a track. It requires precision anywhere you go around it, and generally I find it to be just a hell of a lot of fun getting around. It can be a little bit of a pain at times, particularly when you're at turn 6 just before the Rahal straight, getting onto that sausage curb potentially. It's always an issue, but I'm sure these drivers have this capability, have the skill to overcome that.
Yeah, too right. There's that gut-wrenching feeling up the hill towards turn 6. And then you get a sinking feeling as you dive down the corkscrew and down towards turn 9, Rainy, which is a beautiful series of corners out to a right-hander, and then towards the final corner, big braking zone to a hard left-hand hairpin, and then out onto the main straight, which isn't really that straight because it goes left and right and up and down.
Yeah, it's not much of a straight there, but it is still... oh, excuse me, quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, certainly is. So let's have a little review of our standings, since it is the last race of this short series at the end of the year. Of course, Series 15, only 5 races so far. We've had 4 out there already. Started at Imola, went to Zolder, Watkins Glen, and then last week it was, of course, the infamous Alton Park. We had some qualifying antics and then a pretty good race afterwards as well. So we've got leading the way at the moment in pro class, it is Shady Samuel on a charge throughout the season so far, taking back-to-back victories. Stephen Ty in a, well, unfortunately a slightly distant second there for him, as we do see Hignett Boatley go for a bit of a joyride. Yeah, that's right. And then, of course, we've got Benjamin Hignett in P3 in the pro standings on 397 points. That's your top three for the pro class, all but settled. But silver class, what's happening there?
Well, in the silver class, you have Jeremy Washington, who's been doing a fantastic job, currently sitting P3 overall, and is leading the way for the silver class championship. What looks to be about 90 odd points clear of Eric Scarney, hashtag Scarney for Pro, there in P2 in the silver class championship. Then about another 80 points back from that, you had Raiden Shogun there in 10th overall in the championship, but third in the silver class.
Exactly right. And of course, on Twitter and or X or whatever you want to call it, hashtag Eric Scarney for Pro, Scarney for Pro. And then also, I think the new campaign has been Washington for Pro as well, because that result at the moment, P3 overall, stunning work. Daniel Kwan there, of course, leading Pro-Am category at the moment in 11th place overall. Steve Lewis, P2. And then, this is the battle that I'm going to be looking at for today. Aaron Slade, third in Pro-Am class, 15th overall. Steve Lewis, 14th overall, separated by 7 points. So that second place in Pro-Am could come down to this. But Daniel Kwan is leading by a fair amount. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, by quite a distance there, about 60-odd points between himself and Steve Lewis in P2 in the Pro-Am standings. So does have a fair lead at the moment. Then you get into your AM class championship where Hayden Marsh has taken a 20-point lead over Rusty Shackelford there in the AM class, and Dale Stratford a little bit further back from that. But I think Marsh is in a pretty good position to take that tonight.
Exactly. I am not. That's a Boatley round the wrong way at turn 3. Oops.
Well, actually, there is no Shackelford, I believe, on that leaderboard. So Marsh already has it guaranteed.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was going to proclaim my lack of bias and then say go 27. But I don't need to do that now. I'm going to say congratulations, Hayden Marsh. But yeah, that unless Stratford wins the race, I believe that might be the points gap approximately there. But unless he wins the race, and even then, Hayden would have to DNF. So I think AM class is all but wrapped up by the sounds of it.
Yes, just about.
Yeah, so well done for doing math on the fly. We've actually got a little tool that Glenn has provided us tonight to help us figure out who's going to win things overall in each category. And I feel like he doesn't believe in our ability to do maths, Alexis.
Yeah, that seems rather strange from Glenn. Might need to pull out a little bit of a defamation case on that one.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's definitely harming our reputation here as competent commentators. So, oh well. Nonetheless, we'll use the tool anyway. For no reason other than
just because it's there.
No. It's there. Why not use it?
It's not because he's right or anything. No.
No, exactly. I certainly didn't admit to that in any place that can be used in a legal fashion. So, nonetheless, it is 37 degrees Celsius out there on track. Air temperature 29. So typically hot here at Laguna Seca, which is fantastic. Optimum track conditions, which is also excellent. But tires are going to be pretty heated, pretty hot out there. They do have 2 mandatory pit stops to do today. So that's going to allow them to keep those tires a little bit cooler. So what do you reckon? Is it thirds again, 20 minutes on each? They've got a 60-minute race ahead of them.
That was sort of what they aimed for last night. There were a few that were able to execute undercuts and overcuts in the spec series last night. But no, these tires are going to be melting a lot. And someone who was melting yesterday was Stephen Tyre, who was suffering from a bout of food poisoning last night in the spec series.
That sucks. Yeah. Well, he was still driving.
He was still driving.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've got to give my hats off to him. That's
He wasn't as fast as what he is now, but the fact that he's out there putting in these lap times after last night is a testament to the quality of these drivers. As Cook goes to the top, and Stephen Ty, what does he do? 5,000ths of a second, if you don't mind. Look at how tight it is for the top 3.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there is 45 hundredths of a second in it. That's nothing. There's a tenth between top 4.
It's 800ths between Shady Samuel and McDonald there in P4, because that is gap to leader.
Yes. My goodness. That is close. Yeah, that's pretty close, I'd have to say. There really is nothing in it. Brimblecombe, though, currently P5, only sitting just under 0.3 of a second away. So that's actually pretty close with 8 minutes on the clock here. And Race Control saying hi chat. Hi chat. I think that might be a reminder for us, Alexis.
Yeah, no. So what? Wave to race control, chat. Wave to race control.
Yeah, we're testing. We heard from our lovely broadcaster Glenn that in fact that was just testing that things were working. So there we go. That's how that goes. Nonetheless, welcome in, of course, everyone who's in Twitch chat and YouTube. Seen lots of familiar names as usual. We've got Craig Dale, we've got Mace, we've got Ethan Kale, we've got My Brothers, SCOA, Lucas Keys in there, KA Motorsports, Graint in there, Robert B, Sean Ghost Muller, who is tuning in while also relaxing, I'm sure, with a sim racing beer. Stick Death, Ferox in there as well, Notbone, hey, and Gorilla Snapper on Twitch. So there we go. And nice to see you all in chat. Hope you're having a fantastic end to your year. It's 21st of December. I don't know how I don't know why it's that date already, but it is.
Yeah, no, 21st December. It doesn't feel like it should be this late on in the year, but it is. And yeah, there's a lot that happens around this time, and hopefully you've all managed to do whatever shopping you need to do for the holiday season, because it is about to get very chaotic out there. And hopefully it doesn't get chaotic out here at Laguna Seca tonight. But speaking of Laguna Seca, we've had Brad Cook go to the top with a 22.227, if you don't mind.
Thank you very much. That is a great time. And yeah, you're absolutely right. We need a comparative dissertation on the differences between driving in amongst 20 cars at Laguna Seca versus being in a shopping mall. I suspect there's more similarities than we care to admit.
Yeah. But someone who's been showing a lot of great pace and is 0.3 up on his time so far, Sean Brimblecombe. Last night, Brimblecombe qualified P2 in Split Yellow Spec Series.
Wow. That's super impressive. In the Mercedes, oh no, of course that's the Lexus, wasn't it?
It was the Lexus, yes.
Wow,
Everyone was in the Lexus, and he qualified P2. Nearly took pole position. Unfortunately, the race did not go as well as he'd hoped, as he ended up finishing P10 and not quite snatching the Pro-Am title. But still, Brimblecombe has a lot of pace around here.
Wow, so he really knows this place like the back of his hand, because he's clearly got a lot of pace at this place. Only as a Pro-Am driver, only sitting 0.5 off the top drivers in the lobby. That's impressive work. We've got DM Rama in P8. That's Brimblecombe's closest competitor on track at the moment in Pro-Am class. And then Jeremy Washington, P6, and Smith in P7, so two silver category drivers sitting there. And here's a face here and a car that is not usually down this end of the grid. Looks like we're putting on a much better time right now. Hignett, across the line we go, and that is 5th. Okay, so there we go. That's a bit more of a familiar position for this man right here.
Yes, he ended up finishing, I believe, P2 it was in last night's Spec Series race for Split Yellow. So also has very good pace around here. Let's see if he can carry it over into the Bentley, which, I mean, given that we have the BOP, it is a little bit easier to get the times out of it, even in the worst cars, but it's still not going to be easy.
Exactly right. Yes, emphasis on the worst cars there. But yeah, for those of you who are unfamiliar, we do have the LFM BOP V7 or something like that applied. That does mean that all the cars, whether they're old or new, are pretty much the same. And it's been actually working so well. It's great to see some different choices up there. Brad Cook and a Honda up there. We're on board with them right now. Which, you know, if this was any other race that wasn't bopped, I'd be like, is that a McLaren? I'm confused.
No. Surprisingly, without bop, the Honda is one of the best cars.
No.
Around here, the Honda just goes.
Okay.
I have a feeling I read in chat before that it was running 25 kilos of ballast.
Seriously? Hold on, I've got to check that, because that is true. Yeah, it's plus 25 kgs. Okay, so actually it's a monster around here, and we should be not surprised at all to see it at the top of the grid.
Yeah, and Brad Cook is quite the peddler, he is.
That is correct. That is very, very correct.
Yeah, Ferox saying that Honda has always gone pretty well at the Intercontinental GT DLC tracks, which this is one of them. Of course, we did have some American DLC tracks come through, but this came through when the intercontinental GT tracks came in, such as Bathurst, Suzuka, and Kyalami.
That is interesting. Herod across the line now. 0.3 of a second, nearly 0.4 of a second. Will put himself up in the P11 in the Porsche. But yeah, that's fascinating. Okay, yep, that's something I did not know. So I will take that, and that's my learning for the day.
Yeah, no, the intercontinental tracks don't tend to get updated as frequently in terms of how well the cars perform compared to the other tracks in the game. At least that's how it's felt for me, as there's a bit of dust there that Shady Samuel just had to work his way through. Oh, that's Ben Hignett. Oh, that's not the line. Oh dear, that's not the line.
Oh dear, yeah, 2 cars not taking the ideal line. The Boatley didn't seem to want to really turn there, did it?
No, it didn't, and I just think both of them went too deep.
Well, it's easy to do, isn't it? I mean, you're kind of relying on the car to sort of sweep itself in, scrub off a lot of speed under trail braking.
Oh dear!
Okay,
that was
so
close to impeding there.
Yeah, so the Bentley of Hignett got out of the way in the right way there, which is to pull over. Unfortunately, Shady Samuel didn't. So that's a little bit unlucky there for Stephen Ty, who will go again. So that's not really affected him a massive amount. With 2 minutes left on the clock, though, only a couple of laps left in it for each of the drivers out on circuit, and that might be even a little bit compromised there for Shady Samuel on the start of this lap. Probably not by a huge amount. More dust being thrown up. Dust, or is it? It's sand, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Gravel,
it's more sand, but it ends up turning into dust when you run over it.
Very true. Yeah, sandstorm. Maybe we can play a bit of Darude later on.
Yeah.
We won't sing it because that would that would be interesting.
Yeah. The copyright systems on YouTube and Twitch would probably look down upon us not very fondly.
No, you botched the track. You made it sound awful, and also copyright strike. So
yes,
go have fun with that. Oh dear. So Stephen Ty navigating more traffic out there on track, followed closely by Shady Samuel. Both of them trying to get those final laps in. Not been a good lap here for Stephen Ty. Woo, that was a moment. So careful running too deep through Rainy, because that's what can happen.
Audi tings.
Yeah, quite literally. Maybe a little indication that the tyres are starting to suffer a little bit. 37 degrees. Not a great temperature. Rear tyres getting less up.
It's a bit hot, yeah. As Shady Samuel, he is done. He will not go any higher than P3.
Wow. This is
Brimblecombe,
huge here.
Nearly 3.5 tenths up at the moment. This is a banger of a lap time so far by Sean Brimblecombe. He might be a bit too deep there. He does slow it up, but what's his exit like? It's not too bad, actually.
Wow. How is he maintaining that speed?
He is there or thereabouts.
Oh, lost a little bit in Rainy, but managed it on the exit. Pull it back out to 0.4 of a second. Through into the last corner we go. This is the tricky part. Mercedes on the brakes. Makes a lot of time up on the entry. Loses on exit. Oh, dear. But this is still going to be a fantastic lap, though. P5? P4. Impressive stuff.
Brimbles. He has a chance at pole here.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one more lap, so he can go again. We know that he's got, what, 0.3 in the upper sleeve for that last sector?
Yeah. That's just how he takes the... Oh, he's too much curb there. I think, yeah, he doesn't quite have it as... Go slightly faster to a 22.202. Stephen Ty is done. So there's not many left that can actually find improvement in here.
Yeah, maybe the Boatley, maybe Hignett. That's probably the only person left out on track, but has found a little bit of time. No, Hignett is a no there, unfortunately. He's trying everything as Brimblecombe. I think he knows that he's got the potential to put it up there, but I don't think he is now. This has lost far too much time. Yeah.
Oh, that run through corkscrew was way better.
Certainly was. Wow. So here we are saying it's not... Whoa! Okay,
nah,
no.
now it's over. Now it's over.
That is unlucky, because that could have been a really fantastic lap, but just Sector 1 and the first part of Sector 2 just didn't really bring it together for Brimblecombe. Will go across the line and unfortunately not set a better time, but still very, very impressive. Up there, P4 and in the lead of Pro-Am class. Well done, sir. Excellent work.
Yeah, that's really well done there by Brimblecombe to qualify there in P4 ahead of all silver and pro M class drivers, and only having a few pro class drivers ahead of him. That's really well done.
Certainly is. So we'll quickly run through some of our results here for qualifying, but it's going to be Brad Cook on pole position in his Honda NSX, and then it is going to be Stephen Ty in P2, Shady Samuel in P3. Now, unfortunately, there's not really any championship implications from this qualifying. Shady Samuel is out to, well, nearly 80 or 87 points ahead of Stephen Ty, so it's going to have to all go wrong and some for Shady to lose the pro category. Jeremy Washington is down in P8 behind Smith. Again, there's big distance between Washington and the rest of the silver class, so that's again not going to affect things. But we've also got McDonald and Hignett in there as well, P6, P5 and P6. They're behind Brimblecombe, so Brimblecombe will have to find some race pace out there and make sure that he can keep those faster cars or potentially faster cars behind. So let's see, we're going to go for a little bit of a track walk here, so thank you, Glenn.
I'm just doing some calculations, and Shady Samuel would need to drop outside of the top 10 for Stephen Ty to even have a chance at the championship.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, really, Shady Samuel just needs to have a clean race, doesn't he?
Yep, that's basically it. If he has a clean race, he will have the title, no matter what happens in front of him.
Exactly right. So just the mandate there, stay out of trouble, keep it clean, make a gap, even if you're in P4, P5, and just relax. Shout out to all the liveries here in Split Blue, of course, for this Series 15. Absolutely stunning work from everyone on the grid. There's been some amazing liveries out there. Really clean, really cool, and I have to admit, showing off skills that I couldn't even imagine having, to be completely honest with you. That's going to be a result here. Now, we did just have a comment in the chat from Law MRT saying, how many deaths in the pit lane tonight? Well, that's a good question. You were here last night. How was the pit lane?
Ice rink. Let's just say in Split Yellow, nothing happened with 40 minutes to go, nothing happened with 30 minutes to go, nothing happened with like 8 minutes to go. Yeah, no, there were a few spins in pit lane going around that corner at pit entry.
Oh dear. Okay, well we'll keep an eye.
Hit like the bump on the inside curb, and the car would just go around. I'm not sure whether that was just the Lexus or whether other drivers will be impacted by this too.
I guess we will find out. Big mix of cars on the grid tonight. I would say probably Ferraris might be the ones to keep an eye on in terms of ice in the pit lane. But we'll see, I guess. We'll see. I'm not actually, I haven't properly raced here at Laguna Seca or done much setup work, so I'm not 100% sure how the cars are set up for this. I'm assuming you go for a reasonably mid height on your suspension there, like a low ride height probably doesn't help at a track like this.
The cars do tend to run a little loose around here, from what I'm aware of. I'm not sure how much has changed in the past few updates, but I'm pretty sure it's a fairly loose setup around here, just so you can get around the corners as nicely as you can. You still obviously want to be slippy in a straight line, but yeah, it's just finding that happy medium like it is for most tracks.
Exactly right. So here we go on our formation lap. And then we've got an hour of racing ahead of us. So buckle in, make sure you've got your sim racing beverage in front of you and getting ready to watch some excellent motorsports here at the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series. And a mention, of course, for Simrigs, who do sponsor us here at the Sprint Series. And if you're an Octane Online Racing Patreon, you do get 5% off in store. So go check out simrigs.com for all your sim racing needs. And of course, if you do sponsor us through our Patreon, please consider it. It really does help out. There's lots of volunteer work going on in the background, so your support is most appreciated. And thank you to our patrons at the moment. So we go back to Laguna Seca, and we look forward to this race. 36 degrees out there on track, temperature 28 degrees in the air, no wind at all as we go side by side. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a fantastic race. A few interesting corners to navigate. Corkscrew going to be very interesting. The first time through turn 6. And even down an Andretti curve, the first corner, big braking zone. It's downhill, chances for people to outbrake themselves very easily. can create a bit of chaos. So let's fingers crossed and wish all the drivers good luck as we head down the pit straight, getting ready for our green flag on this race in the final race here at Series 15. That is a green flag out on track, and away we go. Brimblecombe off to a nice start. A little bit of a look from McDonald up the inside of Shady Samuel. Can't find anywhere around. Side by side we go. No one is outbreaking themselves. Well done, Split Blue. You've done well. A little bit of chaos, though. Shady Samuel on the inside curb gets all out of shape. Brimblecombe goes through into P2. Stephen Ty still behind Brad Cook. Sorry, that's Brimblecombe in P3. And that's very wide for McDonald as well. Chaos starting to happen. And that's Jeremy Washington out of nowhere in the Aston. Good work from everyone. Up to P6 for Washington right now. That might actually be a little bit higher than that. It's P5, in fact. So Higdon in P4. Brad Cook still leads us away. He's got a gap of 1.1 seconds already as we go through and up the hill through turn 6 for the first time. Looks clean. We had a couple of side-by-sides there. Hopefully they sorted themselves out. Brad Cook looking very, very clean, calm, and composed at this hot circuit here at Laguna Seca. Higdon under a little bit of pressure from the cars behind. Here's the mid-pack chaos that's going on. Not really chaos. Looks all cool and happy. There's no car sounds coming through, apparently, so we'll have a look at that. That's a spinning car. That is a car going very, very wide, and looks like contact there between a Ferrari and Shogun. Shogun, the Mercedes, both of them rocking the same colors on their liveries. Unfortunately, a little bit too similar, obviously, because they've come together out on track. It's acted like a magnet. And across the line for the first lap does go Brad Cook. Nice, clean first lap there, Alexis. Not too bad at all.
Yeah, I think you may have just missed a little bit of 12 meters moment there at the what is actually called turn 1. There was a little bit of contact there. I think it may have been the Ferrari they were seeing in the background of potentially Lewis getting caught up in a bit of contact with another car. Then there was a little bit of other action going on. Few minor contacts that didn't really lead to any big crashes, but of course, yeah, we had that incident there with Shogun and what looks to be Slade.
Yeah, that's right. That was pretty nasty down into Rainy Curve. And of course, really, if you have an accident here, it's just gravel. It's desert for miles, really, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. It is sand, sand, and more sand.
Sand barrier.
Oh, McDonald, that was a bit deep there at the corkscrew. That is not how you take that corner. Interesting note, though, Shady Samuel did have a very poor start, dropping all the way down to P8 momentarily, getting back up to P7 with what looks to be a pretty bold move going into turn 6 and then again into the corkscrew on Matthew Herod. But he's managed to make it work, and now he's chasing after McDonald.
Fastest lap for Benjamin Hignett out there, 471 car, 122.775. And we did say to Shady, well, not directly to him, but we did say on stream, he just needs to take it cool and calm. And might be taking a little bit too calm out there, as let a few cars go through. But that turn 2 for him, Andretti Hairpin, you're absolutely right on correcting me on that. Turn 2 was a little bit dicey for him. I don't know if there was a bit of contact there, but he did end up on the curb on the inside line through the second part of Andretti Hairpin, and that didn't really do him any favors. Here's a replay down to turn 9. Let's have a little look.
Oh, that's a little bit poor.
Yeah, that gap closes. Unfortunately, it's a door that inevitably shuts, and for those on the outside, there's nothing you can do because you have to turn in. Otherwise, it's sand barrier. And unfortunately, they both ended up in the sand.
Yep, although there won't be too much damage on Shogun's car, but still going to be a bit of damage to the reputation, I think.
Yeah, exactly right. We are hearing from chat there may have been some more incidents involving Shogun, but we will wait for a replay before we make any further judgments. On board now with McDonald. And that Ferrari is not looking particularly comfortable after that contact. I hope he hasn't picked up too much damage in any of that, but it's not looking the most comfortable car to drive out there right now. Looking a little bit oversteery. Trying to get the power down, maybe running a low TC from where you potentially need it on the Ferrari. Usually TC7, as I understand it, which is still boggles my mind. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, TC7 is like yeah, okay. That's how I'm gonna describe it. Just. But meanwhile, we've got a bit of a battle here for P2 with Ty Brimblecombe in his what is the superior Monster Energy flavor, And then Hignett there in P4. Hignet's showing really good pace at the moment. Brad Cook's going to be under a bit of pressure soon with these three bearing down his neck.
Yes, the gap's down to 0.8 of a second, so Brad Cook has not been able to get away from these drivers at all. I've just seen some more action in the background. That might be Deanne Rama, we'll see. But, excuse me, as you say, these top four doing particularly well. Hignett has caught up to the back of the Mercedes ahead in Brimblecombe. And here's some penalties being applied. A 15-second penalty for Shogun, the 38 car, for causing a collision on lap 1. What we just saw on the replay camera. And another car going for a bit of a spin at Corkscrew, it looks like. Nonetheless, that's not super surprising. That place is very tricky to navigate. Smith here as well, who we're on board with. Pit window does open, so we are good for pit lane entries now. And fastest lap being set by Stephen Ty. And there is a very slow Deanne Rama in the 69 car in the Pro-Am class. Oh dear, something big has happened to this this person out on track. We might be able to pull up a replay, but that's a long way back.
Yeah, that is abnormally long way back. I am concerned for what has happened to Deanne Rama.
Yeah. Something big has happened there, and
he's not coming into the pit, so it clearly hasn't done him too much damage.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Or maybe it has.
Yeah, that McLaren does not have aero anymore, which means it doesn't drive, really. Well, it doesn't turn corners, let me put it that way. It can go to straight line for the most part. Replay up. Let's see what's happened to Deanne Rama. On board now with the 69 car. Is it just going? Yeah, it looks like wide. And, yep.
Oh, that's a big moment. And then, no. Dear.
Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. Okay.
He's done well.
He has stopped the car.
I reckon he has another moment.
Oh, no. Slow car, fast car, up the hill. Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
and
just
a barrier
little bit
touch.
Of a bump. Little bit of a bump. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Oh dear. So that's not gone particularly well for Deanne Rama, unfortunately. Ray Smith picks up a 10-second penalty for out of position on lap 1. Oh dear. That is going to hurt a little bit in the first pit stop. Looks like Brimblecombe is being slightly dropped by Stephen Ty. I've got to be honest with you. Brimblecombe is showing some mega pace out here. Is holding Hignett and Washington up and has been holding onto the Stephen Ty for the last 8 minutes in this race. That's super impressive.
Yeah, no, certainly has been. Brimblecombe was on pace with Ty before, but it's just started to drop off a little bit. But either way, hashtag Brimblecombe for silver.
Yep, there we go. We've got another campaign. Hignett runs a little bit wide, does pick up the car again, manages to avoid that same bump we saw Deanne Rama go for a bit of a spin on. And you can see the margins here on the exit of turn 6. I mean, there's something about the exit of turn 6 where you don't really always know if you're going to make it, which is absolutely terrifying. Let's go for an onboard shot here with the 471 Bentley out on track. He doesn't look particularly comfortable, I've got to be honest with you. He's a little bit of oversteer happening on the car. Might have had to tune that Bentley, and into the pits we come. So
yeah, taking the undercut strategy that he put in last night. Now, did he spin? That is the question. Did he?
We cut away at the wrong time.
Oh, he's going! Yay!
He's safe. Okay, that's good news. We've also got Steve Lewis in the pits as well, the 959 car. I think he might have been involved in something, maybe that turn 1 incident. Sorry, that you mentioned a little while ago, because I didn't catch that, unfortunately. But maybe he's picked up some damage from something there as well.
Yeah, no, he got a fair old whack to the pit wall fence. There's a little bit of curb hopping there from Shady Samuel. I was a little worried there, but he's managed to keep it going. Car number 5 in P5. Absolutely just need McDonald to move up another position. Which, by the way, McDonald's down to P9.
That's a fair way down. His Ferrari wasn't looking particularly stable. I hope he hasn't picked up some damage somewhere. We haven't seen him off track. That doesn't necessarily mean he hasn't been off track, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll see what happened to McDonald, but he's still sort of holding pace for the moment. This is what happened to... Oh dear. Little bit of a tap there on the rear at turn 2. I think there was another car that got stuffed into the wall at turn 1.
Well, that would make sense. We are looking for a little bit more action on our replay cameras. There's a lot happening out on track. I don't envy Glenn's job tonight. He's going to be filtering through a lot of replays, I suspect. We've got a yellow flag,
Oh,
another one.
Samuel bumping that curve again.
Scary. I have to
It
say,
might have actually
especially in
been
a
Smith
McLaren.
that got stuffed into the wall. That orange car, yeah. I think Smith was the one who got sort of stuffed into the wall a little bit, or was involved in the stuffing into the wall.
Yeah. Involved indeed. And of course, we've got some mentions in chat about the game sound. We are looking into it in the background, so do not worry, everyone. We are looking into sounds. We should have them back right about now, so do let us know, of course, and thank you for letting us know in chat. Yeah, okay, so we will eventually find some replay of what's happened there, but yeah, clearly he's picked up damage. Clearly he said, right, time for an early pit strat. Oh, Shady Samuel, what did we say to him? Well, say that he should be doing earlier, just, relax into it, just, chill out.
He has not relaxed.
No, he hasn't. I wonder if he's taken our comments as a challenge.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, just, yes, you want me to relax? How about I do the complete opposite?
Yeah, how about panic attacks in the commentary box?
Oh yeah, it's the panic attack.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's listened directly to us.
That was poor from Scani.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but that was not pro-worthy.
Yeah, let's put a little bit of a kink in the campaign for #Scani for Pro, which he is furiously trying to hold off. Yeah, he is struggling, isn't he? He's coming for a pit stop as well already. So that Aston Martin not looking happy at all. So what that looked like to me is Eric Scani was thinking, right, I'll stay on the inside and Shady can go around the outside, but he didn't. He kind of stayed on the racing light in the braking zone, braked very heavily, and whether that was to do with the car and just the car not being really within his grasps at the moment, and maybe suffering on some sort of heat issue with the tires or something, but either way, Shady Samuel nearly went at the back of him, and then Scani just let him pass, and yeah, that's just not. If you're gonna do blue flag, you brake late, go deep into the corner.
Yeah, absolutely, you go deep into the corner, let the driver who is a lap ahead go up the inside, or better yet, just wait until there's a straight. He was on a straight just before then. Like, I don't know. But meanwhile, Matthew Herod come into the pits, probably trying to avoid a lot of this calamity.
Clean air is what they all should be searching for at a track like this, I think, because as soon as you're around cars, the chaos seems to just sort of arrive, doesn't it? It's like a magnet.
Yeah, that's it. You just have to find any clean track you can, and there is a bit of it out there. Benjamin Hignet's done a very good job at finding it. That 471 car is just taking its own real estate, really.
He's got half.
We have a battle for the lead.
Oh, we do. Brad Cook versus Stephen Ty. It's a battle we all love to see. Two extremely quick drivers who've been putting on some incredible performances for us this series and in previous series as well. Stephen Ty, of course, further ahead in the points in the pro category than Brad Cook, who's had a bit of a shocker of a season. Not going to blame the car, but it's just one of those things. Sometimes you have an unlucky season.
Car.
But there we go. We heard it here first, folks. It's the car.
Wait. With the POP, it balances things out, but even then, that Honda, at most tracks, still isn't great.
See, even just to get around a lap, and this is just a comment on my own driver skill, which is not really super fantastic. I have to drive a really good car that's super stable. Otherwise, I don't make it around track. I tried the Bentley for a few laps around Spa and a few laps around Misano. I couldn't control it. I can't even imagine what some of these cars actually feel like.
Bentley used to be really, really good. The Bentley used to be a fantastic car for beginners.
Right. That's those first car you should choose videos by the likes of Jardia and a few others that I inevitably ended up watching and going, nah, I'll just drive my McLaren.
No. Well, the Bentley in older updates was actually quite a stable machine. You did have to manage it a little bit on the brakes, but generally it was really well rounded, and I loved it when I drove it in Sprint Series in the past, but now it's a boat. As this is Raiden Shogun, that's a little bit deep, and that is bumpy. Wall.
Oh, wow. So that's about lap 2. So thank you for the information there, Glenn, and the replay right in the middle of the track. That is so lucky that there is no one else on circuit around him right then, because that is not a very safe thing to be doing. Those tires will be cooked. So he went brake, brake, sand, sand, jump, tarmac, sand, barrier, tarmac. That's a pretty rough one, I have to admit.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
A rough one indeed. We've got a few comments in chat. Nice to see you all in here, by the way. Peach saying Ty still has a vendetta with the Honda, so he doesn't like seeing it in front of him. So this might be giving Stephen Ty a few tenths out on track at the moment. Just willing him on to get past and put the pressure on Brad Cook at the moment. But Brad's looking stable as anything out there right now. This gap has sort of been maintaining around, or somewhere between 0.6 and a second. So at the moment, it doesn't look like the Stephen Ty effect, which is having Stephen Ty in your rearview mirror, is really having any effect on Brad Cook. He's a stable pair of hands and driving the axles off that Honda NSX right now. And it does look really stable. It does look really good here.
Oh, I mean, the Pertec livery is pretty good.
Worth a second, a lap out on track, as we all know, a good livery. So there you go. That's where the Honda. It's the bop effect plus the livery livery effect.
Yes.
There we go. Works in combination.
It's why he needs the 25 kilos of bop, because the livery is too powerful.
yeah, exactly right. It's got nothing to do with the car. Oh, I love it. We are 43 minutes away from the finish of this race. There's a few penalties out on track and another replay here, maybe, or we've just gotten rid of the HUD. It's a no HUD moment here, so we're going to have a little look at this beautiful Benetton livery. It's
another banger of a livery.
Yeah, I agree. I think when I first saw this, I actually didn't know what this livery represented, and then I got told in chat what it was, and yeah, I went and looked at the originals. Amazing.
Throwback to the good old old school Benetton liveries. And past Benetton, of course, a clothing company as well. The United Colours of Benetton.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Aston Martin Brundle. So it's specifically, when Martin Brundle was racing for Benetton.
There we go. So clearly a fan of the man who now has a microphone in his hand. Of course, these days, Martin Brundle, Sky Sports F1. For those of you who do not know, famous for his grid walks, which
a day late and $1 short.
Yes, and being ignored by celebrities and all sorts. The fun he has out there.
Yes.
Mess for him. We have another comment in chat as well from Law MRT saying the Monster Zero Sugar is legit the best. Do you have any comments on that?
I'll be honest, I don't really drink Monster.
Yeah, neither do I.
Oh, that's wide. Good save, good save.
Very nicely done.
And I know that my friends particularly like the mango logo, so...
There we go. Okay. Well, I didn't even know they had a mango flavour, so there we go. I'm a bit of a Red Bull man. That just so everyone knows, that isn't necessarily my preference when it comes to Formula One teams. Just before we get the comments, and I know that they're in company. Right, now a little update on our standings here. So, Brad Cook leads us away Pro Class, Stephen Ty second in Pro Class, Sadie Samuel sitting comfortable now in 5th place, but we've had a couple of people pit in front of him, so he's still running technically P7 at the moment. We've got Jeremy Washington leading silver category with Ray Smith in P2, and then Shogun, who's been in the wars, technically in 3rd place, but I think Scarney might be finding his way back up. He has come into the pits, once has Scarney, whereas the other silver categories have yet to do so. Then in Pro-Am, it is Brimblecote leading us away fantastically well at the moment. We've just been on board the battle for a little while there. Then Perkins in P2, and then Kwan, who is leading the championship for Pro-Am class, as Benjamin Higgins sets a fastest lap. That's what Clean Air will do for you. It'll really...
22-3 in the race. What is this?
Added a Bentley.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Benjamin Hicknett is on fire in this one.
He certainly
is. And he was pretty close up there towards the front. So he could find himself maybe fighting for the lead by the end of this race with the pace that he has.
Yeah, agreed. And he's actually done a really good pit stop as well. It was a nice quick one. So he absolutely nailed the pit entry. They got in there nicely, but this clean air is just doing him a world of good here. And for the likes of Stephen Ty, who probably wants to be ahead of Brad Cook at the moment, and Shady Samuel, I think Hignett will be well ahead. But really, it was because we had Brimblecombe was ahead of Hignett, if I'm not mistaken. So what this really does is it gets Hignett out of the dirty air of Brimblecombe and gets him out on track. And I suspect that's an undercut, almost certainly. Bit of a moment there, but manages to pull this thing back into line, which is good work. Again, every time I touch the power, it just, honestly, I couldn't control the Bentley. I really couldn't.
It can be a little bit tricky on throttle, I will admit, but if you're able to handle it, it can be a really, really good race car. Well, it used to be a really good race car, not much anymore.
Well, we see the lap times, and I go, it's
fair way clear of Jeremy Washington, who those two were sort of in a battle pack together before.
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
so
Jeremy Washington
that is really well done by Benjamin Hignett. He should theoretically be able to jump Brimblecombe.
Yeah, it looks like he's made up probably somewhere around 3, nearly 4 seconds, I think. Into the pits does come Brimblecombe and Samuel. They are in now. Some yellow flags out on track still, but that's probably just my tools playing games with me, as they do like to do. Oh
that's
my goodness. So maybe that's the key here, because I was going to say it before. Is he just applying the throttle and getting that car to really? Yeah, that's track limits for sure. But is this the trick? Is it? Is this the get on the accelerator, nice low gear, get the rear end of the car to really turn this thing in? Is that kind of the trick with the Bentley?
Well, you can abuse the tires a bit with the pit stops you have to make, so it could very well be the strategy. But no, Benjamin Hignett is really, really pushing that Bentley around. Now, where is he in relation to Brimblecombe? Brimblecombe. Oh, he's a long way clear of Brimblecombe.
Yeah. No surprise there,
Oh my lord, that is so far ahead.
Here's our dual camera. Let's keep an eye. Brimblecombe on the left.
Brimblecombe's come out actually a fair way behind Washington as well. And behind Shady Samuel.
Wow.
So Brimblecombe has stuffed up his pit stop well and truly.
Yeah, I'll take a little look at that. So Brimblecombe, it was a slow pit. Looks like 35.9 seconds in the pits. That's an extra 4 seconds.
So he got moved. He got moved in his box.
He did. Yeah, because he's about 5 seconds. Oh no, sorry. He's about 5 seconds behind Jeremy Washington. About 8 seconds behind Hignett.
Yeah. So yeah, he is. That's just been the pit stop. There's been no spin in the pit lane. That is all just down to the poor pit stop.
There you go. There are some tricks that can allow you to nail that pit entry, but that's something you've got to practice in this game, because getting moved in the pits, especially in a race like this, 60 minutes, it's a fairly short distance. Sprint race series, of course, it's 2 pit stops. So if you do that twice, that's 8 seconds off your race time. You've got to nail those pit stops.
Now, here's an interesting thing. Where is Hignett in relation to Ty? I think Ty will be a bit ahead, but it's actually not going to be too far. This blue flag needs to get out of the way. Does so. Let's Hignett go. Yeah, it's not a huge distance, actually, between Hignett and Ty.
No, it certainly isn't. Of course, Stephen Ty will have the fresher tyres, but they do need to get up to temperature and then go miles over temperature.
The gap is now 1.6 seconds. Hignett's in this battle for the lead.
Wow. That undercut is so strong here. Wow, I shouldn't be surprised, but it has worked really in the favour of Hignett here.
Hignett pulled it off last night spectacularly, so he's going to try it again tonight. Now, Brad Cook is in the pits. This will be interesting. Where is Cook in relation to Ty? Has Ty managed to do an undercut on Brad Cook, or has Brad Cook done enough to stay ahead? Who knows?
Who knows? We'll find out pretty soon. 1.5 seconds the gap now between Stephen Ty and Hignett. Hignett looking stable, strong, fast. Stephen Ty trying to get these tyres up into the optimum window. And that was not actually a moment there. It did look like for a moment that it was. Nonetheless, Stephen Ty keeping it nicely on track. Brad Cook off the pit line there. So he's going to start his crawl down this very, very long exit. Super frustrating when you know that there's time in this.
Oh, this is... Ty's got him.
And look like it,
has got him too.
both passed. They're both into the braking zone, coming around. Blue flag traffic gets out of the way for Stephen Ty, who have the exit. He'll have the exit speed as well. Oh, they've done it, yeah.
Wow.
That's
so
a
Life
huge
takes the
whip
lead, Hignett up to second, and Hignett is now nearly a second away from Stephen Ty.
Wow, this race, the top three have just mixed up. Oh wow, that's what is that Mercedes doing in the background on camera one? We'll probably never know, but that was certainly a moment. Wow. So yeah, Hignett closing in on Ty. Brad Cook 2 seconds down on Hignett with some blue flag traffic that he's just navigated a couple of corners ago. And she got Jeremy Washington only 2.5 seconds behind, then 1.5 seconds to Shady Samuel. I'd say it's not only on for the top three, I'd say it's probably on for the top 5 at this stage. So what do you do in the second pit stop now? Do you try and run long at the end? Because obviously the undercut has worked, but I think most of that was probably due to the clean air that Hignett was able to run it, right?
Yeah, I think Hignett needs to just run these tyres as long as he can and probably pit with about 25 minutes to go. Like, if he has the pace now to hold on to the back of Ty, then he could really extend out this middle stint and just go for it on the last stint. He clearly has the pace for it.
Yeah, and of course, even if you're on these tyres for 40 minutes, that other than the temperature, which you do have to manage a little bit, but not a lot you can do about it. It is actually cooling out on track. It was 37 when we started, now 35 degrees Celsius. So that's going to help Hignett in his battle here because those temperatures will be slightly cooler. But yeah, 40 minutes easy on these temperatures. The tyres are not really going to run out of a lot of grip out there. You just got to be careful with them. Like, just don't overheat them, and they'll last. So he can extend as long as he can hold this pace. And the gap now down to a second between these two. So he's actually closing in on Stephen Ty still.
Yeah, no, Hignett is doing fantastic stuff right now, though. I think Ty will start to break away now that those tyres are up to scuff, and he'll have the grip in them. But Hignett's still holding on pretty well at the moment. Hignett just seems to have he just seems to know where the train tracks are around here.
Certainly doesn't.
Oh, that was a bit loose, though. That was nearly derailed.
Every time we get that camera angle out of Rainey, because that's where you get the power on. That's where every car has to do that. You stab on the power, coming out down the apex, and the car just swings in. It hits the floor, it floors out. You get maximum grip. The car just starts to turn. But from that camera angle, it looks like they're drifting or having a moment.
Is still getting closer. This is really, really good work by Ben Hignett.
And at the same time, dropping Brad Cook as well. So he's put
Cook is sort of holding pretty stable between Hignett and Cook at the moment. Washington, though, is doing very nice there in P4. And he's actually holding his own against Shady Samuel at the moment. In fact, yeah, no, Cook is slightly gaining. But they're all sort of converging on each other at the moment.
And of course, if Hignett gets held up by Stephen Ty, that brings Brad Cook straight back into the battle. So that could be the move here for Brad Cook. Yep, that's the sand. Luckily, no barrier involved. Will Brad Cook be able to find a way around? I don't think so, because in the braking zone we go. And yes, a bit of advice here, solid advice. Do not try overtaking at the corkscrew. It just does not work.
Don't try overtaking at probably turn 1, probably turn 4, turn 6, not ideal. Corkscrew, rainy curve. You could try it into turn 10, but I wouldn't advise. Oh, Brad Cook is around.
Oh no!
Oh, Washington!
Oh, Washington's gone the long way around, trying to avoid him. All he's got, that's going to compromise him a little bit, but
Washington's up to third now.
There you go. So the hashtag Washington for Pro campaign going strong right now, getting more and more evidence every single lap so far. But yeah, that's going to be great for this man right here, Jeremy Washington, in the number 500 Aston Martin. Brad Cook down to P7. I'm gutted. I'm gutted. This was
things.
Yeah, it is Honda things, isn't it? I mean, just a little bit. Was it a bump there? Or was it too much throttle?
I don't know. I'd have to look back at it.
Yeah, I'm really gutted for Brad Cook. I really wanted him to have a good result this season, and unfortunately, whether it's the car or just whatever it is, it's just not gone his way. I'm gutted for him. Hopefully, he'll be able to find a way back up. Obviously, he had the pace. He qualified in P1. He's got Herod about 5.6 seconds up the road from him. a lot of work to do for this man, but he's got the pace to do it and 30 minutes to do it in.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be a tough ask now, though, I think, for Brad Cook to make his way up, even into the top 5. Like, he's dropped a long way back. Oh, yeah, and he's really getting loose on the brake!
Oh, blue flag. Was that a blue flag? Was that a, yeah, was that a, hey, I'm getting out of your way, and oops, nearly mucked it up, or was that a, oops, I might as well get out of your way?
Why not both?
A bit of both. Yeah. The intention was there, and then they had an oops moment, and then thought, well, screw it, I'll just let them by anyway. Nonetheless, we are having a couple of comments in chat, Ben. I'm sure you would have seen those as well regarding sound, but nonetheless, we will continue. So, Glenn, apparently they are hearing
Radio effect.
Yeah, radio effect double stream. Twice the entertainment, says Chris Ellis. So there we go, it's looking at the bright side.
And then Peach looking on the dark side by saying that Brad overcooked it. Oh, sound's fixed now.
Magic. Okay, there we go. You just needed to look in the general direction, Glenn. Things just work. I'll take his silence as a disagreement. Oh, there we go. Nonetheless, we've got less than 30 minutes remaining now, 28 minutes, 43 seconds on the clock. Brad Cook with a spin recently has put him out of contention for a top 3 finish, elevating Jeremy Washington up into the top 3, but he's got a fast Shady Samuel behind, who has not heeded our comments with regards to him taking an easy race this time. He's been pushing the car to the limit, and as you can see, these two are separated by not a lot out on track. Very wide line here for Shady Samuel. That's really how you want to do it, because you want to basically avoid that first apex, and you want to absolutely nail the second. So you get the power down. They're coming through here to turn.
Oh,
that
curve
curve!
again.
Well, tell us about this curve, Alexis, because that curve there is the bane of my existence, and I pretty much...
It is the bane of my existence.
It's not a nice curve, and
I think John in chat before said that I clearly had some PTSD at that corner. Yes, I have. That turn 3 sausage is a pain.
Exactly. And I always get stuck between two philosophies. I go, right, do I just, brake a little bit later, try and turn it in, and then potentially oversteer the car on exit? I need to get the power down, or do I go the opposite way and run the risk of hitting that sausage curve and spinning around anyway? It's sort of the sort of balance point between those two evils is very tricky to attain.
Yeah, certainly is. Sorry, I'm just looking back at John's comments in chat. Playing a drinking game every time I go, and now he needs a new liver.
Yeah, that's probably true. Oh wow! But I mean, at a track like this, there are big moments everywhere. Is a valid observation.
Yes, very much so. Probably not the most professional comms in the world, but it is comms. What's happened there? Brimbles, he's dropping down a little bit. He dropped down to P7 there.
Oh dear. Yes,
I think just a little error.
Not, from what I can see, no damage on the car. The front bumper looks a little bit scuffed, but that looks like he might have just had an excursion on the sand part of the circuit. Unfortunately, he suffered a little bit from that, so that will elevate Brad Cook up into P6. Herod goes ahead, of course, as well. So that's unfortunately not going the way of Brimblecombe. P6 and P7. P6 often known as the cursed position, or one of the cursed positions, that and P13, which is currently occupied by Shogun. So they...
Oh yeah, no, that's apt.
Yeah, I think it's worked out, hasn't it? Not unfortunately for the drivers, but yes, those positions certainly seemed a little bit cursed today out on track. Nothing to do with us, of course, Alexis. We're free of curses so far. 0 curses so far at the stream. That's a record for Split.
Yeah, no curses at the moment as we continue to look on at Shady Samuel here. Is about 8/10 off of Jerry Washington, still pushing on with things as ever. As we now look at what happened to Brimbles. Curb.
Oh dear.
Curb at Rainy. carefully now. Oh, redoing it. Oh dear.
Oh,
And he did scuff the front end. Yes, you are right.
oh, that's so unfortunate. It's a tricky one of those situations, isn't it? Because your driver instinct says, right, get back on the power. You know, get back on the power. Let's get back on the track and get moving. But what you really have to do is the exact opposite. You really need to actually slow it down, look around
Just
you,
bring
be
it on
aware,
slowly.
and bring it on slowly. Even if you lose more positions, it's better than that happening.
Oh, we're back onto the radio. Double sound. Woohoo!
God.
It just seems to be going all over the place, the audio right now. But now you can
Awesome.
hear my twice.
Oh, this is the time that we can sing Darude
it's only on
Sandstorm.
replays.
Oh, okay. Only on replays there. So that might give us a little hint.
It's been isolated.
Yes, otherwise you have poor Glenn scrambling around the entire broadcasting studio trying to find which cable is plugged in.
Hignet's in. 25 minutes to go. Hignet is in.
Okie dokie. And unfortunately, I do have to report Brad Cook went for a huge spin in the previous lap, so he is now dropped all the way back to P16. He's coming to the pits as well, coming out now. So unfortunately for him, he had another spin and damage on the car too. That's why I think he decided to go for a pit stop now. He'll have to run for 24 minutes and try and make up some time, but he's miles out of it now. Really unlucky day for Brad Cook.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been Brad Cook's day. He started off so well, and now it's just all falling to pieces. But out front, Stephen Ty's doing everything he needs to if he wants to try and take the championship. But unfortunately, Shady Samuel's doing everything he needs to retain it.
Exactly right, and up into P3 for Shady Samuel. So he's...
well, that's with Hignet's stop.
Oh, that is indeed, yes, sorry. So technically P4, but started P3, went back to what, P7, I think it was?
P8 briefly behind Herod before making a move up the inside at turn 6. So yeah, he's got up to P7 for the most part. Now he's back up into P3, or what is going to expectedly be P4. We see that BMW in the background had a fair bit of damage there.
That was Kwan. So I did see a yellow notice against Kwan just a little bit ago, and that front of that BMW looks awfully damaged. So I think he's also managed to find the barrier somewhere. Probably corkscrew.
Sand. If it's corkscrew, air, and then barrier.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, sand, barrier, tarmac, pit. And then position minus, sadly. That's just the way it works at a track like this. There's such little... You said this, and I completely agree with you from earlier in the stream. It is a track defined by your need to have consistent precision. You know, one little tire off the track can really ruin your race. We've seen it already today. And unfortunately, that is just the nature of Laguna Seca. That's also why I love it. I do love this track personally, but I also really hate it.
It's a track that you can love and despise at the same time, just because of how tricky it is to get things right. Meanwhile, Ben Hignet's found himself into a nice bit of clean air once again. He is about maybe 15 seconds behind Smith at the moment.
And who's that behind? That's Shady Samuel's behind him. No? We're on board with Washington at the moment. Sorry, we're on board with Washington. Right, sorry, that
Samuel's
makes
in.
sense. Ah, there we go. Okay, right, now I'm all sorted out. So maybe I need to get my eyes checked. I'm looking at the purple signal, and we're actually on board with the red signal, which is Washington. Now, Shady Samuel into the pits. So that'll be his last pit stop, and about 20-ish minutes on this last set of tyres. About what we were expecting for the most part. Hignet going for the undercut again, running long at the end. I think this is a winner strategy here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hignet has been doing very well as long as he doesn't run off at turn 6. He is in a pretty good position, pretty commanding position too. I don't think it'll be enough to get Ty, but he can certainly get himself into the equation to potentially fight it for the win, especially if Ty has a botched pit stop.
Yeah, his excursion at turn 6 has given me flashbacks to Alton Park last week. We saw him consistently run off.
Oh, yeah.
It was Druids, that's right. I'm getting flashbacks to that race now.
Now, where is Hignet going to be in comparison to Shady Samuel, who is just coming out of the pits now? And there is Shady Samuel. So he's still a fair way ahead of Shady Samuel.
Yeah.
Now, what will Washington do?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I mean, look, if they've observed anything from the earlier parts of this race, they know that the longer they stay out, the more time they're going to lose. So if I'm Jeremy Washington,
He's in.
Into the pits. Okay, I was about to say, if I was him, I would pit.
And it turns out you are him, so you pit. Oh, Aaron Slade has a stop go 30 for speed. That is unfortunate. No. That is being served in the pits, so enjoy your stop go 30.
Yes, take a break and some fluids while you're on board. Mechanics to pass you a magazine. Read the latest columns while that happens with stop go 30. That's a big one. On board again with Brimblecombe, who provisionally moves up to P2. Of course, still has another pit stop to do. So
he'll want the red flag out right now.
Yes, please stop. Please stop the race. It's perfect timing. Honestly, I still have to commend him. Doing really, really well. He's running miles ahead of the rest of the Pro-Am class field here. So even the top 10 finish, we all know that a top 10 finish for Pro-Am drivers is very much commendable. So I think he's having a good race so far. Even though he's had some hiccups, he's had some issues. He went for that spin. Was it down at Rainy? I think it was. And put it in the barrier. He's had all sorts of that, but at the end of the day, he's still technically running up there in the top 10. I've got
Washington's managed to stay ahead of Shady Samuel for now, but it is close. Just looking at the mini map there, Washington has managed to stay ahead for now, but Shady Samuel's going to be all over his rear end.
Too right, yeah, it's less than a second the gap, so this battle is very much on. Let's see if Shady Samuel can do something. Fisher got Peach in the chat saying, Shady is so annoying when he's chasing you, so consistent. It's like being chased by the T-1000. So the Terminator in Shady Samuel chasing down Jeremy Washington. Let's see who's going to... it's O'Connor versus... what's the name? I forget my Terminator references. But there we go. T-1000 Terminator. Washington, stop go 30.
Oh.
He sped on the exit of the pits, it looks like, maybe, or something like that. Washington, stop go 30. Oh. That's a disaster.
Oh. Now here's what happened to Cookie. Oh dear. Oh. Oh dear.
That's a disaster.
Oh dear.
Wow.
Oh, and he didn't brake. He didn't brake.
He didn't brake, and yeah. So that was tarmac sideways sand, tarmac sand, tarmac sand, tarmac concrete. That was tarmac sideways. Ouch.
Okay, rough. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. I think it was about right. Into the pit straight away. So sensible move there from him. But crikey, what an accident.
Yeah,
hate to see it.
The gap between Ty and Hickman has stayed about the same, 4 seconds, but Jeremy Washington's hopes of a podium are gone.
Fortunately for him, though, he's so far ahead in the silver category that I don't think that's going to make a difference. Eric Scarney is currently in P14, having done all his pit stops. So this doesn't really have a huge impact.
Smith is just pitting now.
Okay, here we go. So he's actually one of the last of the pitters out there. Smith is into the pits. Oh, which Smith did you mean? 351? Or the 556?
566.
Ah, there we go. So actually both Smiths in the pit stop right now. Glenn just being intentionally confusing.
Whoa, I mean, Smith was in the pits. This is still not used to drivers with the same last names. I mean, I don't think I've been able to get used. There's one in the Split Yellow Spec series that always catches me out.
There might be a few.
Yeah, Taplin's. Glenn and Liam Taplin.
There we go. Yeah, there's a few out there with shared names. Of course, does make it a little bit confusing for us. And it worked, but I don't think Stephen Ty was expecting it.
But it worked.
Yeah, I don't think Stephen Ty was necessarily expecting that. Didn't look like there was an indicator on by the blue flag either. So, yeah, there's always tricky with blue flags, but it kind of did happen. They kind of figured it out. But, there's a real art form to being blue flagged and making sure you're not compromising someone else. And there's a way of driving predictably that is, I think, not necessarily super hard to learn, but it's definitely not super easy. But at the end of the day, there's one rule, and that is move off the racing line.
Yes. Don't crash.
There is a whole lot of grey area in that. Blue area, whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah, between Ty and Hignett is down to 3 seconds from what was 4 seconds by the time Ty came into the pits.
Okay.
It is closing, but how long is that going to be closing for? That is the question.
Yeah, exactly right.
And catching is one thing, overtaking is another.
Especially when you put two fast drivers together. I mean, we saw the battle before, right? It's just how many corners here did we say there's potential over? I mean, it's turn 2, right? There's the final corner, turn 11, and that's about it. Unless you get the other driver making a mistake, right?
Yeah, force the driver into a mistake at turn 5 and kamikaze it up the inside turn 6.
Yes. Correct. Is all I'll say to that. Or pray that they go really deep into the corkscrew. Actually, even if they do that, just slow down and be careful.
Yeah, because the rejoin is a pain.
Exactly right. But it's been a solid drive from Hignett. I mean, this undercut strategy has worked out really, really well for him.
Well, he qualified P6, so no qualifying points for him, but he's recovered pretty well and done very similar to what he did last night with great effect.
34 degrees out there on track now, so it is cooling slightly in the last 14 minutes of this race. But to be honest, once you're above 30, it doesn't really make a difference. A little bit.
It's just hot.
It's just very, very hot, exactly. But it wouldn't be Laguna Seca without this kind of temperatures. That really is kind of part of this racetrack. I'm sure there is a rain setting for this place, but I think you'd be mad to use it.
Yeah, no, don't do rain.
No. Corkscrew, rain.
Oh, Ray Smith is P5.
Okay. Now, so Ray Smith leading silver class at the moment in the 566 car. We saw him in the pits with the other Smith at the same exact time. For OES Orange, he is in a fantastic position. How has he pulled this off?
And I'm pretty sure he got shafted at the start as well, in the incident that we did not see.
Yes, it was an orange car that was involved in that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the question is rhetorical, but how has he pulled this off? This is fantastic work for him. Speeding silver class, P5.
Speed.
Yeah, speed. Speed and tarmac.
Yes. Yeah. He's just been quietly consistent, quietly going about his work, and it's paid dividends for him. He's only 8 seconds off of Herod at this stage.
So there we go. Up until now, 0 camera time essentially. So Glenn switches off it before we get our first curse of the season and ruin his race. But no, fantastic work from Ray. Excellent stuff. Only 12 minutes on the clock as well. So about 8 or 9 laps remaining as it stands right now. And this will be a silver class victory for Ray Smith. I think that might be his first silver class victory in Series 15. So that'll be fantastic news for him. I'm sure he'll be absolutely stoked driving around in the cockpit of that Ferrari. And he is currently the leading Ferrari out on track as well, ahead of Brimblecombe, Cook, McDonald, who's the second Ferrari, and Washington. And Perkins has found his way up in the top 10 as well. So
Perkins doing nicely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just been doing consistent work because the drivers behind him probably haven't had the cleanest of races.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a part of it. Looking at our AM class, Stratford is in P15 at the moment. Looks like we've had a couple of drivers drop out of this race already, unfortunately. The names of which escape me at this time, but I'm sure someone will be able to remember. Hayden Marsh, who's leading AM class in Split Blue, is down in last position, P19 at the moment, and looks like he's had a horrid time because he's a couple of laps down.
He's still going to take the AM class title, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like we said, I think we basically said he has to not finish the race, and Shackelford, who's not in the race, would have to finish P1. So with Shackelford not racing today...
it was Stratford who needs to... Oh my god, Hignett, oh my god. Where was that pace in qualifying?
Wow.
22.262.
That is
unbelievable.
600ths of a second off our quality whole time. Yep, that's quick.
Ben Hignett is on fire, and he is nearly within 2 seconds of Ty. It's going to be a tough ask to get close enough for a move, but he's doing everything he needs to right now.
At that pace, right now, because I'm just comparing this to Stephen Ty's last lap of 22.695. That is so almost all the time that he had between him and Stephen Ty has been taken out that previous lap. 0.5 of a second there.
Oh, he is pushing. He is pushing, and thankfully someone did realise that it was a Richie Beno impression there, and of course, iconic Australian cricket content.
Oh, now I get it. Okay, that took me a little longer than it should have.
Yes, the 2 for 222. Yeah, this is what happened to Smiths. We finally get to see it. And that is... Oh, Shogun. Oh, Shogun. Please, Shogun. No, 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 no.
Oh, no. Okay, well, it's actually...
Oh, Shogun. Oh,
that's
Shogun.
damage,
Please,
but it's not
Shogun.
gone...
No. Hignet's done a time even faster. 22.247.
That's damage. Wow. Oh, and Hignet all up in that action at the start of lap 1, sadly. So that wasn't like... I honestly thought we were about to see the car catapult around, but then of course I recall that we didn't see a number of the whole rest of the field be yellow flag. But obviously that still impacted Ray Smith's ability to get... That is a car, that is a Lamborghini that is the wrong way around, set to the 9 car.
Would be Stratford.
Oh dear, okay.
Oh, and is that damage or is that just delivery? Nah, I think that's damage. Or...
is it just... No, unfortunately that is sandblasting right there.
Yeah. Just... it's actually not too bad.
No, you're right, it's not too bad, is it?
It may just be delivery. Although
Yeah,
the rear doesn't look fantastic. Although, again, could just be delivery.
Well, we might have a replay to show us to see what's happened to Stratford here. It does...
Oh, Hignet is pushing! Look, the gap is now 1.6 seconds.
I was just going to say, because that gap is nothing now. Stephen Ty, let's keep an eye on the lap times as they come across the line. Stephen Ty, it's 22.7. For Hignet, it's a 22.5. So he's taken 0.2 of a second out this last lap with 8 minutes left on the clock.
He needs to really push now.
Well, he's got to go all or nothing.
And Shogun's picked up another penalty, this time 10 seconds because he collision on lap 28. And I would also just like to apologise for emptying out John Sneakers' liquor cabinet.
Yes. Nonetheless, Hignet. No, I think there's an in-joke there that Glenn and I are not privy to. A chat joke. There we go. Andrew Wyhen then is 32 car, 10-second penalty. Unfortunately for him, because of some collisions. Hignet, every centimetre on this track where we said precision is key, showing us he's got the precision. One small mistake here. It is deep from Ty. 1.8 seconds of gap still though.
Come on.
Stephen Ty's got to start getting these. I mean, both of them are having to lap in the 22.5s, essentially, to keep them...
Oh, Hignet.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Now, George is bringing in the noises.
Oh yes, I didn't
even
consciously realise I did that.
Exactly. It's just an unconscious reaction.
It is. You just, I think that's what you feel when you're driving the car, especially when you're on onboard as well. So
Hignet was only able to gain a 10th that lap, so that is not enough at this point in time.
Mull in the chat, of course. Hello, Mull. Welcome. Lovely to have you in here. Alexis commentating USC fight would be interesting.
Oh, dear lordy. Oh. Yeah, you'd get all the Alexis noises.
Certainly would, yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, before I say opinions that probably shouldn't be aired on the channel. Nonetheless, still on board. 3 turn 6 we go. On the limit. Wow. Okay. So yes, I'm still making noises as well. Not intentionally, I promise. It's just so the margins here are so close, and I think actually I know why I'm making noises there. The steering wheel is on the right-hand side of the car, and I drive a McLaren. That's why. Yep.
This is the only car in the game, I'm pretty sure, that has the steering wheel on the right-hand side. Or at least out of the GT3 cars.
Yeah. The Aston is on the left-hand side as well. Oh, really wide.
Yeah, fairly sure the Aston's on the left-hand side.
Blue flag traffic ahead. The 33 car will have to get out of the way of Hignet.
That's Perkins.
That's Perkins. Yes, it is. Flash of the lights there from Hignet.
The gap is now down to a second. second. He's gained 5/10 on that last lap. That is huge.
Okay, that's... Yep.
It's one way of doing it.
Yeah, well, it's about as good as you get down there. It's that, or you have to brake about 100 meters earlier and just move out the line, which is probably what you should be doing as a blue flag. Let's be honest.
But
You're
this
right,
gap
that
is
is some
basically
pace.
nothing now.
That was a 297, 22.297 that lap from Hignett.
Wow. And Hignett probably got a fair old slipstream boost from having Perkins in front, so maybe it's actually helped him having the blue flag get out of the way so late. As the pit window's now closed and everyone's done their pit stop. It's not like last night where Glenn Taplin accidentally forgot.
Oh no, that's...
because he got damage on the first lap and came in before the pit window opened.
Oh, and then got mixed up and thought he was
Yeah.
done too when he... Oh no.
Hignett just seems to be so... maybe not.
Just as you were saying it, no. At this point, Alexis, we've just got to speak the facts. We've got no speculation. Otherwise, we're going to curse. I mean, we've had a clean record so far, mate. Let's keep it that way.
Well, he was going to do pretty well through the corkscrew until he got loose on the exit, but either way, he does look visibly faster than Stephen Ty at the moment.
He's just able to get the power down. He's so clean through the corners. I think it's under braking. It just seems to be really smooth as well. I'm not 100% sure if it's just Audi things at this stage, but Stephen Ty just not finding the lap times out there. Might be a little bit hotter on his tyres. Again, that could come down to the Audi or the driving style involved. We know, of course, Hignett, incredibly clean, consistent driver, and it's just working in his favour right now.
Oh!
0.7 for Gabby's gone! Well, I think that's a curse.
Yeah, that one's definitely a curse.
That's a curse. Literally as I was saying it.
Yes, very smooth.
Very smooth, consistent driver goes off the track.
Currently still, he's still P2 at the moment.
Yep. 3 minutes ago, I don't think this is coming back his way, but that was nearly a P1, potential P1 there. Certainly was going to have a nice close gap. I think, honestly, that curse, the distance between me saying positive things about him and the spin was less than the gap to him between Stephen Ty.
Yes, it was. It was. I think it was basically instant.
I think what's happened is I've cursed myself by telling you not to curse, to increase the number of curses, and then karma has come and hit me, and then
proceeded to curse someone yourself.
Precisely. Yes, that's exactly it. So, yes, George Cook in the commentary box doing George Cook things. That's unfortunately how it works in the commentary box when I'm here.
Cookie crimes.
Yeah, cookie crimes. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Very true. I think 2 minutes, 40 seconds left in this race. So movably rapidly along. And looking down the rest of the field, great fight there from Stephen Ty and Hignett. Love to see it. Shady Samuel P3, Herod up at the P4. So Ray Smith drops the position from P4.
Smith was behind Herod already.
Oh, he was indeed. Okay, so thank you.
In fact, Smith has actually been gaining on Herod. The gap is now down to 7.1 seconds. It's not going to be anywhere near enough, but still, Smith is showing good pace.
Certainly is. We've got Brad Cook behind him, but he's a fair way down the track, unfortunately. So Brad Cook not having a great day out. Brimblecombe behind. That Mercedes looking damaged again. I think we missed something.
Maybe.
Yeah, potential. It's just essentially just a visual thing there. So he's just tried to take a little bit more of the outside curb there, but just braked a little bit too, turned in a little bit too late. So he's just tried to take a little bit more of the outside curb on the dirt, and that was it. Turned in a little bit too late. Well, that is an unfortunate end there to the fight that we were witnessing for the last part of this race. Hignett going for a bit of a spin, will of course retain P2 in this race, unlikely for that to change. Holds fastest lap, so it's definitely points out there for Hignett, but has no impact on the championship standings at this stage. Brad Cook P6, Brimblecombe leading Pro-Am class, doing very, very well in P7. And we've got McDonald, but this is
Brimbles! The damage on Brimbles.
Well, that's what we were saying before, but it might be a visual glitch. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I was saying. He had the stop go 30, which obviously he served. Still running up in the top 10. It does look like he's holding damage.
Was it Brimblecombe who had a stop go 30? I thought it was Washington.
Oh, it was Washington. Sorry, I'm getting completely mixed up here. Washington, that's why he's down a P9.
I have a feeling that might be genuine damage. Because McDonald is right all over him now.
Definitely is, and closing in. The gap is well under a second. Whoa,
Can't do that, Chief.
No, bit deep there from McDonald. Ferrari good, late on the brakes, of course, but that was
Not that late
bit...
on the brakes.
Exactly, yeah. That was not fashionably late. That was unfashionably late on the brakes.
That's one way of putting it.
I don't necessarily see the Mercedes looking particularly slow anywhere, but I mean, on the brakes, you're always going to get a Ferrari. Ferrari's always going to gain time on the brakes, but it seems to be hanging on. Okay, they're actually there on acceleration. That looked a little bit. Here we go with a replay. Let's see what's happened. We will have the replay up in just a moment.
Although
we can
may want to just hold that up for a little bit because look, there's contact. He's got to back out of it now. There's McDonald. You cannot do that bump and run.
No, you certainly cannot, and that's such a dangerous place to do it as well. Maybe braking zone, turn 11. That's probably where you're going to get it done. Got to look at the advantages of the car that you're on board with, and if you're out braking someone,
he's going to do it into turn 2. I think he's gone for the better exit. I think he's there or thereabouts. So I don't think he's going to quite get there into turn 2. He's going to have to force an error out of Brimblecombe.
Yeah, exactly. Send there would be dangerous. Replay. Let's have a little look.
This is going to be a sausage. No, he's
just driven off the track, and the car goes round.
Boom! That is big damage.
That is
big damage.
It's a scary place to be stuck. Does do well to get off of it. Taps the rear on the barrier. It's a good measure for the concrete there. Does do well. Luckily, no one around on track during that.
Oh, McDonald is fighting this. Oh, and Tyre's finished. Tyre's won.
Oh yes, so the race is over, by the way. So there we go. Stephen Ty has taken up P1 in this race. Hignett will take P2. Shelley Samuel immediately back to the pits, taking P3 and the Pro Championship as well. We'll talk about that shortly. Harry P4. Ray Smith, a silver victory, the first, I believe, in this series. Congratulations to him in P5. Overall, Brad Cook, P6. Really unlucky day for him, but he's driven well back to P6 in this race. Brimblecombe in P7. It looks like at the stage. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. So McDonald's had a bit of a moment.
Yeah. But it means that car 7 will finish P7 and car 8 will finish P8.
Wow. You'd love to see it. Beautiful McDonald across the line. That's right. Fist bump in the chat as well, please. That was very cool. P7 in P7, P8 in P8, P500 and P9, number 500 and P9. No, that doesn't really work, does it? And there we go. That is your race. Yeah, that is Split Blue for this Series 15. It's been a great series. That was a very interesting race. That's very typical Laguna Seca stuff out there. We'll have a quick look at our championship standings and see where everyone has finished out. But I don't think we've got any changes really here to the top threes. We will take a look at that shortly. For now, we've got our overall standings in the race. Score Stephen Ty from Hignett, from Samuel, all in pro class as well. Silver category, a victory for Ray Smith. And then Jeremy Washington with a stop go 30, very unlucky there. Then Shogun in the wars today. Pro-Am class, we do have Brimblecombe taking home a great victory in Pro-Am class. P7 overall, yes, let's look at the car number, just to confirm. Perkins in P2 for Pro-Am class, and then Smith, the other Smith, out on track. Then in Am class, it is going to be Stratford taking P1, and then Hayden Marsh taking P2 in this race. And I believe that is we can confirm now, right now. Hayden Marsh, congratulations, you have won the Am class championship in Split Blue. Well done to you, sir. Excellent work.
Yeah, nicely. Now, in terms of a driver of the day, it's hard to look past really what Stephen Ty was able to do just out front. He was very, very, very consistent out front and managed to get the jump on Brad Cook and kept things clean in the end. He was solid.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call. Of course, let us know in chat your driver of the day here for Split Blue, as we do round things down for the season and start to prepare for Split Red handover. So stay tuned, of course. We've got another hour of racing, action-packed racing here at Laguna Seca coming up for you. Two other commentators as well. But yeah, I think that's a good call. Stephen Tai, he was the most consistent, not necessarily the fastest out on track, but the most consistent. Done very, very well. I will say an honourable mention, of course, for Hignett, because I kind of owe him at least an honourable mention, given the one curse that we handed out during this. So we nearly had a clean record there. We had commentator of the day, obviously cannot go to me today. It definitely goes to you, Alexis. Well done. 0 curses handed out.
No.
But an honourable mention for Hignett. What a drive at the end there. I mean, throughout the race, lower positions and all that. Did the undercut strategy to perfection. And those laps at the end, like lap after lap, 22.2s. It was just astonishing to watch. So
if it wasn't for those mistakes he made, he would have been my driver of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
If he hadn't made those mistakes, he well and truly could have won this race.
Yeah, exactly. So that is just the reality, unfortunately. And my driver of the day will indeed go to Stephen Tai. Kept it consistent, won the race, and didn't crash. Cool. So I think that's pretty much it for now. But there we go. Alexis, mate, been an absolute pleasure being in the commentary box for the last few races with yourself in Split Blue. Thank you all to everyone in Split Blue. It's been fantastic watching your racing. Congratulations to everyone out there. I believe I can say very quickly that it is Shady Samuel that will take Pro Championship for the series. It is Jeremy Washington that will take Silver Championship for the series. And Daniel Kwan, I believe, will also take Pro-Am class, with Hayden Marsh taking the AM Championship. So congratulations to all of you. And for all those who rounded up in the P2 and P3 positions in your respective categories, big congratulations. And thank you, of course, to OOR and Glenn, absolute legends. So thank you so much. Enables us to do what we do here. So yeah, thank you, Alexis, as well, mate. Been a pleasure, as always.
Thank you, George. It has been fantastic commentating alongside you for the second half of this Split Blue season. But we will be going to a very short break. We will have Split Red along the other side with Ethan Kale and Leo Drea on the other side there for your Split Red commentary.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sprint Series 15, the 5th round at Laguna Seca in Split Red. And we're at the lovely Laguna Seca, as I said, and I'm joined tonight by the very fast Ethan Kale alongside me. My name is Leo Dreyer. Welcome. I hope you'll enjoy our coverage. Hey, Ethan, how are you?
That was a hell of an intro. How's it going?
You are the very fast Ethan Kale, right? So is
I'm
this
trying
the
to
same
give it
one I'm
time.
thinking about?
Yeah, it depends what kind of mood I'm in, I reckon.
Yes, so we just saw the Split Blue finish just a couple of minutes ago, and there was obviously a couple of really quick drivers in there, and yeah, we're very excited tonight because the championship is really quite close. We've got a couple of guys who've missed a few rounds, but I think you've got Ethan, you've got a little bit of an update for us on potentially what can unfold tonight with the points in the championship.
Yeah, so it seems as though a few of the championships are pretty much wrapped up unless if there's any major dramas, but I guess on the top of all the tables is Chris Cooley, currently sitting on 495 points. However, he is in the silver class, so he's leading the field really by 87 over Lucas Keys, who is in P2, who's again also in the silver class. Our pro class leader, who is Chris Sang, has only done the 3 rounds, but is currently leading Jacob Maggs by 8 points. Seems as though I know he's a very quick driver, Chris Sang, so it'll be good to see him go around tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to have him back as well, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Dropping down to Pro-Am, it's Justin Doe with 295 points, and he's got a pretty hefty lead over Mike Reel in the Bentley. That's a 70-point lead, so again, pretty much got a hand on that trophy, so hopefully he has a strong night tonight. And dropping down to the AM Championship, we've got Audi. Oh, here we go. I've already forgotten how to pronounce it. It is Audi Devanagura.
Devanugaraha. Yeah, I'm not too sure how to pronounce that one, so apologies, but it is a tough one. It's great to see so many different countries represented, obviously, in this series. Yeah,
and especially in the red split, the later time zones, we're kind of inviting those other drivers from other countries to participate, which is great to see in Octane. He has got a 20-point lead over George Secanius. Might have butchered that one as well. So if both of those drivers are driving tonight, it could be a very spicy battle for the AM Championship.
Yeah, so basically all to play for as we see the first few laps already being laid down here, and we've got Tang from Cooley from Mags already into the 22.3, so they're all looking very rapid, and it seems like there's no particular car in OP by the looks of it, having looked at that previous round as well, so that's good to see all the different manufacturers again right up there.
Yeah, we did see before that the Honda was pretty heavily BOP'd. I know that the Lambo, that was very hairy through there, but sang in the BMW. Honda's a very, I guess, BOP car. The Lambo's pretty ordinary as well. As we see Chris coming around the final hairpin on for a 21, first 21 we've seen tonight, as it was very hot in the previous split. But 21.887, which is a rapid time.
Yeah, that is superstar time. I think that was going to be it's going to be tough to beat. It is quite hot out there. I saw it's probably 28 or 37, I think, the air temperature at the moment. So it's very hot out there.
So very similar conditions to what we saw in the previous split, but I guess we're
no rain then coming in that Californian desert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one of the drivers that really stood out one of the previous races was a few of the Porsches was really quick in the previous round, but it looks like we haven't seen any of them pop into the top 8 as we're still on board here with Tang. It's a pretty good looking livery that as well, to be honest. I've got to say I quite like that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the asymmetrical, I guess, abstract designs. They're very colourful, and I guess it still gets the point across. It stands out. That's why I love my orange cars, you know, because you're sitting on the grid and you can stand out from the rest, which is awesome. But no, it looks awesome. The yellow headlights really make it quite mean. I know it's not an option we can change, but he's done well there.
Yeah, he's still 2 tenths up. He actually lost a bit of time there through the corkscrew, and he had a little bit of traffic there. Navigated that, but he lost that little bit of advantage he's had. But we thought it will be tough to beat, but it looks like he's got enough pace. Got a good exit there, and will improve his time by a little bit. There we go.
A little bit of traffic didn't help, but he's a pretty confident driver as we just jump on with
By a little bit.
Up a 10th as well, coming across the line, maybe not as strong out of that final hairpin. Does he improve? Yes, it improves a little bit. Probably not as much as he'd like to.
Yeah, we've got Ben Vintner and these and the Merc up there as well. The Merc probably always goes well where you can kind of ram over the curbs, as we saw in Alton Park as well at the previous round. So I would say look out for Ben. He is a very fast driver and very capable in the Merc as well. It's good to see the Merc in there. We don't have too many in the series, but yeah, that car definitely can take the curbs as well. As we're hopping on board here with Cooley in his Dogmobile. I'm not too sure what he's called this.
Doge Pepe Mobile. He sent it to me to work on it for the Friday night OOR Cup, and I'll tell you what, I struggled. It was very hard to know which panel was what because he just had the Doge Dog plaster all over it.
Gotta love it.
As we jump on with Mags here, up 2.5 tenths, approaching the final turn, just also 10.3 there. Hard on the brakes, smashes it down to first gear. Again, finds another 2 tenths with a very strong exit. So he might have been a little bit fast into the hairpin in previous laps, but nonetheless, he has improved by 2 tenths and moved up into P5. As we see the top 4 runners coming in to change those tyres. The tyres would definitely be melting around here at the moment. The 37 track don't last very long.
Yeah, 100%. They probably all of them just do the 2 quick runs in the 15 minutes they've got allocated for the qualifying time. So as we see Mags pulling off doing the exact same thing, and Mags has got a little bit of protection to do. He's currently, I think, P4 in the championship in a very close race with Tawfiq and Tang. So that's going to be, I think, one of the key battles for us to watch during the race. As we hop on here with Mr. Taylor in the Ferrari, first Ferrari we've seen tonight.
That's a beautiful livery. Chris, I believe it's Chris Taylor's.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good livery that Taylor's done. I've been fortunate enough to see the back and the front of this thing on track, and very, very nice, clean driver, can place the car exactly where he needs to, and hopefully on that next lap he will be able to do that as he just runs wide a little bit. Might be coming to the pits for that pit stop, which he is. Nearly takes out the pit lane board there. And he hits the wall as well. Very inviting, that wall. I saw someone do a little flick spin last night in the Lexus.
Yeah, it's a tough little entry that into the pits. Can definitely catch you out quite easily. Here's the Honda you spoke about a little bit earlier. We've got Matterford in here. He used to race with me back in the day in the KRL series as well as the shakedown with PlayStation many years ago. So it's good to see him competing still in here, and he's found a lot of time. So he's currently in P19 and he's got almost half a second on his Delta there. So in his neon and black Honda.
It's a pretty tough car to drive, pretty hairy as well. I mean, again, it seems as though the BOP prior to the adjustment was really good for the Honda around here. So he just runs a bit deep into that hairpin.
Lost all of the time.
Lost all of it, and he will lose a little bit more, and it somewhat ruins that next lap.
He'll be gutted about that. He will be so gutted, yeah.
Luckily, we've got the 2 pit stops tonight. It's 2 pit stops, yeah, I believe it was from the previous race. Very tough car to drive, very ballsy jumping in it. Burns through the tyres pretty significantly, so the 2 pit stops saves it a little bit here, but you definitely need to grow a leg to be able to wrangle this thing around the track.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Laguna Seca's got all these little camber changes, blind entries, there's some heavy braking zones, and there's the curbs we spoke about, so it definitely is, it's not an easy car to drive on a track like that. So yeah, brave choice for sure, but can be very fast. Obviously, as you said, it can be really rapid, and I think with the new BOP it's brought it back to life a little bit.
Yeah, if you get it right, if you're able to master that setup, you're really maximising the speed that it has. It's a shame we don't see it more. It's quite a nice little car, little fun car to drive, but yeah, you got to get it right as he comes through the same section of track that we saw the previous lap. This time he's up a tenth again, so that makes it 5.5 tenths, 6.5 tenths, approaching the hairpin. He just ran a little bit deep before. Seems as though he's got it right this time. Throwing it in, gaining another 2 mid-corner, getting a pretty nice run out. Looks like we get about a 7/10 improvement there for Matterford. which puts him in P15.
Yeah, up 7 positions there, so I think he'll be happy there. It looked like there was still a bit of time, and they lost a little bit of time at the exit there. As we're on board here with the GTR of Thistleweight, he's been really rapid in this car in the last few rounds. I think in the previous round he was quite unfortunate at Alton Park. I think he had a massive accident and then was unfortunately lapped, but had really good pace. So he would be looking to make amends tonight, I think, as he's currently in P8 there, as he improved a little bit.
I think he used to race it a fair bit, so back in his element a little bit here. It's a shame that I don't think the GTR gets any BOP adjustments, so he's kind of out there on his own, mucking around a bit, but I know for a fact he's loving that. I've been speaking with him.
It's the car you drive because you love it, right?
Yeah, exactly right, and he's having a blast. The livery looks awesome as well. Okay, so has minus 40 kilos, so a little bit of a
probably makes it even harder to drive.
Oh, fine.
Yes, we saw some of the amazing work the team has done for the endurance race as well. For those who saw, maybe go back to the stream, we kind of did a very quick recap on the endurance series. It was a fantastic series, and as Tsang has actually popped it into P1 there. As I'm talking about the endurance series, Tsang under the radar just actually popped a 0.7 there, so that's a really fast time.
Under the radar, just 10th there, I believe, but a 21.7 is just that's rapid, and he's got that BMW hooked up, and it's the right time to have it hooked up when you're trying to fight for that pro championship.
Yeah, he's got half a second now on the field, so from P1 to P2 it looks like he's got half a second on Cooley, who's still in P2, and then in P3 we've still got Ben Vintner in the Merc. So yeah, that's a really good time there from him and that Merc. It seems like the BMW is obviously working well around this track. A little bit like the Merc, it kind of loves the. I think it's got a lot of torque, I suppose, and it really loves the climbing over these curbs. You throw it through here and corkscrew. You got a car in front of him, and he's invalidated this lap. Unfortunately, he's found a little bit of time, but it won't count. So there's probably enough time to do one more lap, maybe two. I don't know how much fuel he might have on board still, as he's got a bit of traffic that gets out of his way as well.
Yeah, the BMW's got negative 16 kilos, so any sort of previous race around here in the BM, it definitely feel a little bit better, a little bit more responsive on its toes. It's only 16 kilos, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it certainly makes a big difference when you're in the driver's seat. You can notice, as he bails, I reckon that might be it.
That's it. I think he believes he's got enough in the back there. As Vinton popped it into P2. Let's go, Ben.
A couple tenths by the seams in that Merc. And again, another negative kilo drop, so the Merc drops 13 kilos for Laguna Seca. So
how about yourself, Ethan? Do you like these FR cars? Do you like the heavy V8s like the Aston and things like that? Well, Cooley absolutely sends it through that corner and got it sideways. Lost a bit of time, unfortunately, as he bails out as well. We were thinking he might start from the back, but he has put a quali lap in, and he's bailed out into P3 at the moment.
Yeah, as we see a lot of people starting to kind of just pull over and return to the pits. The front engine car, used to love it. I used to be a Merc boy through. Started out way back when in the GTR, and then made the hop to the Merc when it was really OP before the new cars came, and just didn't race anything else. I guess came over to PC and continued racing it ever since they kind of remodeled it, and I was able to find my feet on PC. I found it's probably not quite my car. I do like a car with a lot of turn, and so I've kind of jumped into a few rear engine cars. I've had to spend pretty much half the year just trying to master that, and you have a love-hate relationship with them. They can be awesome, as you've been saying, over the curbs, as Palmer puts in P10.
Yeah, Palmer was my driver there at Alton Park in his Porsche, and fantastic livery as well, as we said, and really like the fact there's a bit abstract and offset as well on that livery. As a few of the cars still trying to finish their last laps here, as we've got Thistleweight had a little bit of time. They lost a bit and found he's on the bubble there. You know, Kunos time. You know, there's probably 0.05 in a lap. So we'll see as he.
Nicely. See if we can get a good run on the exit there, which he has.
Yeah.
He's held that time. Looking at maybe a 2.5 tenth improvement, should bring around P8, P7. Beautiful. So he's one more than expected, but doing well holding that GTR around as he gives a little flick spin.
That was just for the camera. He knew we were on him. Well done. As the session is finished, Tofika's in P3 there. So I'll quickly run you guys through the order. We've got Tang, as we've said, in the BMW, from Ben Vintner in the lovely looking Merc, as we've got Tofik, Cooley, Barker, Keys, Thistlethwaite, Mags. Probably not quite where he would like to be. I think Mags there in P8 has got a bit of work to do during the race, as he's fighting for P3 or P4, I think, on the championship.
Yeah,
and then
the win.
Yeah, that's right, for the Pro win. And then we've got Taylor right behind him, and Palmer, as we said, in the Pro-Am, rounding up the top 10, and just ahead of Real. And one of the things we'll look for as well today is the little challenge between Real and Doe for Pro-Am as well. As do you want to take us through the liveries, as we're going to do a bit of a grid walk here with Ethan Cale?
Yeah, I've never done a grid walk before, but as we're going through, there's some pretty snazzy vehicles. I'm loving Tafik's abstract car there again. Really enjoying the fact that you can kind of just splat something on the car and it looks awesome. Just going through, we've got Thistlethwaite on the right there. Mags on the left, he's got a lot to do, but I reckon he'll be a good car to watch. And with Taylor behind him, he's not going to make it easy. Palmer on the left, beautiful looking Porsche. Tonkin, Rashuti as well.
This is the lovely BM Bentley from Real, I think. This white Bentley. It's been one of the standouts in Split Blood this season.
That looks awesome. Heading further back, we've got Tonkin on the left and Rashuti as well. He should be quite quick in the race. Always a beautiful livery, that one. And we got Doe, Lai, very bright and colourful.
See him in the mirrors, right, as he pops out, I would imagine.
Exactly. We've got Chalmers on the left with the Tic Tac Mobile, Matterford in the Honda, Hutama in the Ferrari, Thurcolini, Crick. We've got White as well.
Moving on to greener pastures, eh?
So, guys, you'll just have not heard me talk a lot about Mike Crick's car. And Mike's going to be quite upset because he's all his hard work for his final livery in the GTR is not loaded, unfortunately. So, Mike, I apologise for that. But go out on a high note with the love of your life and give it everything. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's Mike does a lot of work, for those who don't know, behind the scenes, and does a lot of the graphics. So yeah, he's a big GTR fan and saying goodnight to that tonight. So we'll hope he has a good race, and he's currently the top AM driver in P20 as well. As we start the warm-up lap, getting the brakes and tires and pressures and things. Not that they have to do much on this outlap, I would imagine, with the temperatures that we've got here tonight, Ethan, as we're about to start Split Blood, the final race of the series.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't have to do a whole lot. You'll probably be preserving them until you get through the corkscrew. Not needing to kind of warm up the brakes too much. You just want to conserve them as much as you can. Glenn, if you can hear me, I'm sure you can. I'd love you to go to White's car, the Porsche here, 21st. Just zoom in on the front bumper. Yeah, I believe that is Sassy the Sasquatch. Now, for those who know who Big Les is, that's very hilarious. I have grown up with Big Les. He's a beautiful, beautiful series on YouTube. Oh, please tell me it is. I don't want to look like a fool here. It is too. So, no, I'm geeking a little bit over that. Geeking a little bit. But no, that's beautiful. Love it. Beautiful touch.
I was going to say, you're not going to zoom into the Simrigs, as we obviously have to mention them as our key sponsor, but yeah, that's a really good pickup there. Well done, Ethan.
Yeah, with the shark car behind. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's Rochford. He's been one to watch in that. I think it's one of the Kovacs cars in that little, with the teeth sticking out. Always can't miss them on the grid for sure. As the guys are starting to line up in double file here as they're coming around the couple of final corners.
Yeah, probably foot hard on the brake while we're accelerating. Very good at warming up the brakes. We know that warming up the brakes warms up the tyres. Approaching the last 2 turns, ready for hopefully a little bit of a cleaner start than the previous split, but touch wood, because God knows what's going to happen around Laguna Seca tonight. We've got a 1-hour race. The track temp at the moment is 36 degrees and the ambient is 28. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm not too sure if that will fluctuate too much, but certainly going to be a spicy one.
Yeah, as away we go. I think we'll have a green flag in a couple of minutes as we go down to the Andretti curve, or the Andretti hairpin, as they're still waiting. As we got green and we off, as it looks like Tang had a really good start there, and Vinton is just trying to get in behind him to cover the inside line, as Cooley is taking a venturous line down the outside of Tawfiq there. Very sedate, as I say that. I think Tawfiq got a little bit of bumper dressing there, but yeah, it's fairly good for split blood. As at the back, I think Mike Crick has been turned around.
I think he has just been spun. Hopefully he can spin that around and keep going. Yeah, I reckon the biggest loser out of that was Mags. He just seemed to be a bit out of position there at the start and has dropped down a little bit more than he probably would have liked to in this title fight. P10, sorry. So, bit of a hairy start there, but for the most part, pretty clean.
Yeah, luckily it's an hour race and there's 2 stops and a lot can happen. A lot of people would do undercuts as well and overcuts and things, so that it will shake out over time. As Tsang is definitely stretching his legs here. Him and Vinton has definitely taken off and made already a bit of a gap there to Tawfiq, who will be under pressure from Cooley. And Keys has actually come up a few positions as well, as Keys and Cooley has been 2 of the class of the field. As we see Dylan Zhu has been spun around as well. I don't know if that was self-inflicted or if he had a left tap.
It's a bit of a hairy corner. I mean, could lead both ways. Do see though three drivers already have dropped off as we come across the line for the first lap. Chris has got a second lead there, which is a very nice gap to have on that first lap with Keys. Right on the back of Chris Cooley here, coming into the Andretti hairpin.
Yeah, that's right. So luckily this is one of those tracks, because both me and Ethan probably don't know too many of the corner names. There's not too many around this track, I believe. In the chat, please feel free to correct us if we're not right. But yeah, I think they went through corner 3 and corner 4 here. Always a bit of a tricky, because you can really just easily step it out on the outside and lose a bit of traction by putting the tyres out in the dirt, because there's no grass. As we see, we're on board here with Thistlewaite, who's really looking aggressive behind Barker in the Ferrari, looking really racy in that GTR.
There's a bit of a battle forming for 6th here. Not too sure if Barker, doesn't look like he's had any contact or any damage, maybe still just trying to get into a rhythm, which is quite important around Laguna Seca. But yeah, Thistlewaite right on the back, they're looking very comfortable in that GTR, absolutely bringing everything out of it as we see him power slide a little bit coming through the corkscrew.
Love to see it.
Yeah, just bunching up a little bit here. This is going to be very spicy. A couple people have gone around at the corkscrew.
Yeah, car number 844. I'm not too sure who that is. I think it's Turcolini and that beautiful Porsche of his. Yeah, he's unfortunately.
Might have gotten off. Might have just been a spin. Doesn't look like there's much, if any, damage on the car at all, which is good news. But the tyres would be definitely feeling it. Having that spin across there.
Yeah, so Damiano will be a little bit upset about that, but hopefully he can recover. As we back up with the leaders here with Ben Vinton is still keeping it at about a second to Tang, although we saw Tang had the fastest lap the previous lap, so definitely stretching his legs as the pack is split into 2 here. We got the top 5, and then after that we're on board here with a battle for P6. So this mid pack I think is going to be the where a lot of the action will be. And one of the things I've picked up behind as well is Mike Reel is at a really good start. He's actually jumped Palmer, and Doe is back in 16th, so it will be interesting to see how that will shake out for the Pro-Am Championship, as Mike is looking really fast in his Bentley as well.
Yeah, that's. Don't think it's quite enough. I mean, for Doe, he just has to finish. He just has to get to the end of the race. And, you know, you can only do so much. You don't want to do anything silly to put yourself in an ordinary position for that championship. And there'll be a few drivers out there tonight just trying to get it to the end to secure that spot. But as you mentioned before, it is an hour race. We're going to do 43, 44 laps around here. So really anything can happen. As Thistleweight goes a little bit wide just at the head of this battle pack, as we see Taylor take a nice inside line, but pulls back in behind Thistleweight. Barker might be trying a little bit to just bring those tyres up to temp. I know that the first 3 or 4 laps with a set of tyres for the Ferrari needs to be nurtured, otherwise they're just really, really ordinary for the rest of the stint. So you might just be trying to bring them up with minimal mistakes and sliding to just have a benefit at the end of the stint.
Yeah, good point. Do you reckon some of the people will probably try and go past, and like what we've seen in this series so far is because of 2 stops, a lot of stops happen at like 20 minutes and then about 40 minutes. I wonder if a few of them have maybe overfueled to see if they can go a little bit longer. Do you reckon we'll see some of that play out today?
I think we'll see both the undercut and the overcut today. The hot temps and the traffic as well will play a big part. Yeah, it just depends, because a lot of them would also be just still running their quali setups. You can kind of do a quali setup race with 2 stops. So making sure that tyre is nice and juicy still for the end of the stint is really important, as you are putting more wear on it theoretically across the stint.
Yeah, as we're still on board here with Thistleweight, as I reckon this little pack will continue to be quite condensed for this first part, anyway, until we get to the first pit stop. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out, as Thistleweight has definitely made up some ground and got really close to the back of the Ferrari there. It's always tricky with these long left-handers where you've got 2 or 3 corners making up a corner. People brake at very different spots, and you can easily tap somebody on those kind of corners and spin them around. So it was good to see always close racing and clean racing, as we always do in OORs. Somebody's taking a very adventurous line at the back. Is that Taylor?
Yeah, dropped a wheel, and once you drop a wheel, you're done. That's it.
Yeah, lost 3 or 4 spots there very quickly.
Did just want to comment. There's one. Oh, okay, there are more now that I've looked properly. There's only 3 McLarens in the series. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I am a bit of a McLaren fan, to be honest. Not because it's currently OP, I just do like it. I used to like the previous McLaren as well before the new Evo came out. It's weird to see not that many in this split blood. Like we've seen, it's been a fairly OP car, but I think people are a bit tired of it. And so I think a lot of people are just trialing and in this series just testing a few of the other cars as well. And I think after the BOP has come out, it definitely isn't the fastest cars it used to be. As Tang has actually dipped into the 21s there, stretching out that league to 2.7 now, Ben.
I think Real might have just gone off there, as we do see cars 332. Rockford is facing the wrong way coming into the final turn. Hopefully didn't have any help. It's very easy to lose it through there, but for his sake, hopefully it wasn't a personal mistake, as it is a little bit hard to come back from that mentally.
Yeah, luckily there's not a lot of damage when you spin on your own. You just get dirt on the tires, and if you don't hit the barrier, of course, then you obviously have lost maybe 10 or 15 seconds. Something you can definitely make back at the back sometimes when you don't have a lot of other cars fighting with you. So you always lose track time when you're busy squabbling over position and not driving the optimal line. But Laguna Seca is one of those tracks you can't really go offline too far, as we've said before, as it's very easy to just get your tires in the wrong position. As we're jumping on board here with Mike, who's looking really racy, and he's behind Palmer. He's lost that position, as we said in the previous lap, so he'll be looking to try and come back at Brad here.
Just not to be off topic or anything, jumping back to that McLaren chat, as someone that hasn't driven it and someone that hasn't really been a fan of it too much, and very deep there, very deep, cloud as the curb as well. Is it an exciting car to drive? Like, I'm not sure, I've never driven it, so I'm just wondering, is it an exciting car? Is it kind of on your toes? It seems to be very stable.
It can be stable. I think there was a time where you had to really wring its neck, to get the most out of the car, which meant you actually ran a very aggressive setup a lot of the time. to get the best out of the car, and therefore it could have been, you know, a little bit edgy. But you know, to be honest, like we ran it in the endurance series, and you know, we just put like 1 or 2 little wing on it, and it was, you know, a very stable car for 24 hours during wet and dry. So you're quite correct. It can be quite a stable car. I would suggest it's not as stable as the Ferrari. I would suggest that car is definitely the easiest one to drive from the ones I've definitely driven anyway. So it's probably not the most edgy car, but you can set it up to be edgy. if
a
you
lot of
so
the pros do. Yeah. No, the Ferrari's very stable. Yes, you can kind of run that at a very high traction control and just do whatever you want. Flat out, you can put your foot down halfway through the corner and it just sticks, which is great. Good for those longer races. As previous lap, I did see Matterford come into the pits. I'm sure there was someone else as well, but not too sure who exactly. As Stillsaway still on the back of Barker here, being very patient. I think he's just waiting for his time. He does seem to have a bit of a run here. That Nissan is absolutely flying in a straight line. Taking that outside line is very, very risky. Braking late. Barker keeps that inside line, brakes a little bit deep. Stillsaway looks for the double back, but Barker's done a very good job.
Absolutely nowhere to go on the outside there. Yes, Mags is also pulling in, and as I see, Mull is asking what happened to Mr. Godzilla. I don't think we had it on replay, but he was facing the wrong direction when we picked him up on that was it the first lap, I believe, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he just had a little bit of help going around, just a little tap in the rear that sent him around coming out of the hairpin, as Sue gets a 10-second penalty, which I am going to put my money on it being that incident earlier. But again, we didn't quite get a replay of it, so
yeah,
not going to throw him under the bus.
Yeah, they were very close on the track, and they both were off the track, so I believe they probably had a bit of a come together. We didn't see that on the replay, but the beautiful stewards that we always have doing a great job has obviously selected a 10-second penalty for that little incident on lap 1, which normally can be a little bit tricky. As we said, this is not a track where you can run 2 or 3 cars closely together, so as a we saw Thistleweight. That was incredible. I must admit, that was fantastic driving from Barker to not turn in. He obviously saw that Cameron was, you know, fully loaded on his brakes, and he just let him go by and waited his time and avoided an incident. So that was really good driving from Barker, as Thistleweight obviously locked up his brakes and had nowhere to go. He was already committed. It's very difficult when that happens, right? Because you know there's no more time to go to the outside as you normally would in that situation. As we pick up the replay here for Mole, so I'll let you take us through it, Ethan.
So running a little bit wide, a little bit of contact on the inside there that throws one of the McLarens into the back of Mike, which is just unfortunate. It's just the innocent bystander there. You can't do anything about that, which is really unfortunate. But and again, the sausage curb on the inside of that turn was the real killer there. But
3 wide through the Andretti hairpin never ends well, and I think that's what happened there. Yeah, there was just too many cars fighting for the same position, and a little tap is all it took, unfortunately, because at that point, car's on the accelerator, and you know, she went around. But it's a long race, and I think Mike can come back from that. He's already up to P21. There's a few cars that's already pitted, I believe. I think Mike Reel is probably one of the first that I can see has already made his first.
Matterford just before Mike Reel, just before that time inboard chops off, is leading currently the pitters, I guess. We did see him pit around the 50-minute mark, which might be a bit early. Probably pitting for a little bit of clean air, which is really, really vital. As a few of these battles are just bringing some of the drivers behind into the making a 3-car battle. As Rashuti is on the back of Palmer.
You called it earlier, Ethan, yeah. I think you said Rashuti is going to be a fast driver to watch as he comes through the field, and as you said, he's now trying to pick off the Pro-Am drivers here, so definitely started to make his way through the field by the looks.
Yeah, he's a very talented driver, he can be very patient. I feel like it's just me, but you can get a fair bit of aero wash because he just drops 2
Commentators curse, mate. It happened in Split Blue all the time.
I'm sticking to my guns. He's a great driver, awesome to race. And the aero wash there, I always get a bit when I'm in the Lambo, so he's doing a really good job sitting that far up the Porsche and making it look easy as well.
Yeah, shout out again to Brad Palmer. I think he is doing a fantastic job this season. I think he will most likely relinquish that Pro-Am badge soon, if I have to be honest, because when I've seen him race, he's been streaks ahead of the other guys and doing a fantastic job this season in that beautifully designed Porsche.
Yeah, he's only had the 2 rounds and he's currently sitting 19th, and he's if he competed in all 4, he'd be leading or be very close to leading the Pro-Am championship, which is great to see. So yeah, I reckon we'll see him in a silver or pro class soon. As in the background, we just saw Thistlewaite dive into the pits. After that slide, maybe a good idea, maybe looking for that clean air, which if this undercut works, we'll see him out in front of Barker. Did seem as though he was being held up a little bit earlier, but Barker doing a really good job at placing the car where it needs to be.
Yeah, and as we are 15 minutes into the race, for those who've just joined us, we've got Tang from Vintner from Taufik still at the top, as Tang has actually pulled a 5-second lead in the front of this race, extending that lead lap by lap and just doing fastest lap after fastest lap in the BMW. And we've got Matterford with a 10-second penalty as well there for an unsafe rejoin. Never like to see that on lap 6. We didn't see that incident either, so that's unfortunate. And yeah, unsafe rejoins can definitely ruin other people's races. So yeah, just 15-second penalty there. So as we see a lot of people coming into some of the pit stops now, even we're only 15 minutes into the race, I think there'll be a few people that might have a bit of damage or trying to do the undercut, as we said earlier, to try and just get some clean track time. To see if they can improve their positions. We've got Keys in the pits as well, who was fighting for that P4, P5 with Chris Cooley. And we probably expected Chris Cooley to be at the sharp end today. I think you've said earlier he probably only did 2 or 3 laps of practice before the race, so he's doing a fantastic job still there in P4, hunting down the Ferrari.
Yeah, I was speaking to him earlier. Not his favourite track. He definitely hasn't done a whole lot, as we do see Taufik on the back of Vintner for P2. Hasn't done a whole lot of practice. I think that the official practice session is more laps than he has all week or really ever around here. So he's doing a wonderful job up there in P4. The next 10 minutes is going to be very vital, going to be very messy, but I think we'll start to see where all of the undercuts, the overcuts are going to fall into place, and will set us up quite nicely for that second round of pit stops, hopefully in about 20 minutes time.
Yeah, so Laguna Seca, we just see there's another yellow there. I think it's 332 again. That's spun
again. Seems to have gone around. Bit of an awkward spot, halfway between turn 3 and 4. Is it? That kink there's not.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's got a name, but yeah, I think it's between 3 and 4.
Between 3 and 4. So might have dropped a wheel there on the exit just to send him around. As we do jump on board in here, the car still seems
not okay. I think there's a bit of damage at the front.
There is a lot of damage there. There's damage at the front and the rear. So
still got all the teeth. He somehow kept all of his teeth.
Been brushing his teeth probably, eh? As we do see now, Palmer, Lay and Hutama pitting. They're a bit spicy there. We'll see where they come out in regards to Real Thistlewaite and Matterford as well. And see if anyone else comes in this lap too. I'd say Rockford wouldn't be far away. Yeah, there we go. As he pulls in here. Very hot under brakes, but he does a pretty good job of pulling that up.
With all that damage, is always good to, I suppose, come in. You know, if you're losing, you know, it's always difficult, I suppose, in a sprint race that's so short to, you know, do you fix the damage or don't you fix the damage? It's, I suppose, the only thing you can do is see how the car feels, and if you're going to be losing lots of time, then it is probably best to fix that. So it'll be interesting to see if he will fix that in the next stop.
Yeah, I think anything under 10 seconds, if you're a tight battle, you probably don't worry too much about it. I don't know about you. Try not to replace it if you've got a bit of time in front and behind you. Of course, you want to repair it so you put yourself in the best position. But if you're tight in a battle, you don't want to lose too much time. As track position around here tonight, as we've seen, is very, very crucial. Minimal spots to pass.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I think it depends who you're probably racing. You'll probably look to see where the guys are you think you normally would be racing, or in the points, as Chris Cooley steps it out on the back. Gets the Aston all excited, and yes, we've got the leaders here. So we've got Vinton and Taufik and Cooley. So Taufik is really sitting on the back of Vinton here, not letting him get away at all. in this tight battle for P2 as we're catching up with Rochford here. Yeah, he took the sausage curb, as you do. Yeah, that has happened to me, I think, at least a dozen times, if not more.
Would have happened to everyone for sure. Bit of damage there. I thought it might have been a bit heavier than it was, but it seems to have gotten away with that a little bit. I mean, you probably still have 10-15 seconds of damage there, which is hairy. As the 32 of... Oh, I can't read that name. Is it Bonhomme?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Yep, he did cause a yellow flag before. Might have again just dropped a tyre. And
Tafiq has popped into the pits here for the undercut.
In the pits, yep. So we'll see if he can undercut Vintner. Interesting to see how long these two stay out for now that they've got a little bit of clean air.
And we've got another yellow flag. Yeah, car 28 there. I think is the same. Looks probably a similar incident because it's again between corner 3 and turn 4. I reckon there's for car number 28.
Adjustment might have been again drop a tyre. Seems to have gotten away with it though. Got going again. Didn't seem to be sitting there for as long. So hopefully just a little spin. As Bishop also comes into the pits from P10, maybe P9 I believe he was, in that Porsche. So it's all starting to happen now. It'll be interesting to see where Keys comes out as he was behind the top 4 runners. So Taufik will be a very relevant driver, I guess, to show us that.
Yeah, I think that was kind of where they would be fighting after the back of the pit stop, so it's always good to kind of see relatively to other people where they come out. I also noticed that Mike Reel has jumped Palmer after that first round of pit stop, so I think he came in a little bit earlier, so it looks like the undercut might have worked a little bit for him there in that Bentley. So
now I'm just looking at that leaderboard there. As Vintner comes into the pits to fend off Taufik, Mags has dropped to P7 now. Was he not battling Taylor earlier on?
Yep, I think well spotted.
He's about 16 seconds, 17 seconds now off of Taylor, so bit of an incident there. I don't know what happened. Maybe he's run off. I've tried to keep a strong eye on the track map to see any yellow flags, but yeah, Rashudi's got him, and I know that Rashudi was not in front of him before, as we see Taylor and Rashudi now jump into the pits. Be interesting to see what Mags does.
As I believe we had a car speeding in the pit lane, car number 89, so that will probably not be ideal. And I think Taufik has picked up a stop-go 30. Yep. So, and there's a stop-go 30 for Bishop as well. So 2 stop-go 30. So I don't know if that was on the entry or the exit, but Taufik was trying the undercut for the P2, and that is going to cost him a lot of positions. He will drop right down.
Yeah, it seems as though a lot in the entry I'm seeing. They're coming in quite hot. I haven't personally done too many entries here, but came in very, very hot there. Someone just pulled over there. Might have been Jusman. Looks like he got a stop go 32. So might have just pulled it. Yeah.
You get a stop go. You get a stop go.
Yeah, everyone's seeing them at the moment. I think I'd like to know if the board's still there. I think the board's still there, but a lot of them are coming in very, very hot. And you see our leader and Cooley, so Sang and Cooley, coming into the pits now from P1 and P2.
So they just went one lap past the 20-minute marker because there's the 2 stops. So just making sure they've got enough fuel to get past that 20-minute marker. So it'll be interesting to see where Cooley and Tang we would believe would still be 5-6 seconds ahead as he feeds out. Taufik, as we said, had the little issue. He was battling with Vintner. So let's see where Cooley feeds out in comparison to Keys and I suppose Vintner. So let's see where...
It was a 9-second gap between those two coming into the pits. I just have noticed as well that the temps have dropped to 35-degree track, which wouldn't really notice it too much, but we'll need to make changes on the tyre pressures as they both are coming out now. So I was saying it's got a pretty nice lead there over Vintner. I think Chris Cooley might have him as well.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be tight down at the hairpin. I think he might be able to hold on though.
Coming into the Andretti hairpin is always very awkward as you come out of the exit here. And as I say that,
not around.
Commentator's curse, I tell you what, it hits probably the 6th time today. Yeah, it's a very tricky exit there, and he was obviously battling to see if he could get past Vintner there, and just stepped it on the sand there, and he was a passenger after that. Good thing he didn't make contact with anybody coming through the racetrack. Not an unsafe rejoin, that was just unfortunate.
Yeah, not handy on those fresh tyres either. Really, yeah, it wouldn't be nice coming out of the pits and not lighting up the rears. So a bit unfortunate. I reckon if he took it a little bit slower, he would have easily had Vincent. He seemed to have been quite a bit ahead. Vincent on those nice warm tyres will continue pulling that gap as our current race leader, Barker, isn't it? It is Barker. Barker comes into the pits, and so does Mag. So Barker was battling with Thistlewaite earlier on, but Thistlewaite's behind Real now. Mike Real has jumped Thistlewaite, so it's very good for his championship contention that Thistlewaite seems to have dropped off a little bit, as that gap's pretty big now to Taylor. He might have made a mistake as well. It's a 17-second gap. No, 10-second gap. Sorry, so he's just gotten past Real again.
Yeah.
Lost a fair bit of time in that pit stop.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. That's well picked up there. I think you said like Real's doing a good job, but Doe is only 3 or 4 positions back, who's currently the Pro-Am leader. So as you said earlier, probably not much in it. He's doing enough to kind of keep it there, but not sure what happened there. So Real is here on the back of Thistlewaite. So we'll see if he can actually catch him, or if Thistlewaite will stretch his legs again from here.
They both, however, have jumped Barker and Mag significantly. Barker might have had a bit of damage. He's dropped well back, P15, even behind Mag. So not too sure. The overcut, or the undercut, sorry, seemed to have worked for some, but not for others. And then the overcut as well has worked for some, and not for others. But
could be damage related, as you say.
Yeah, that we're not catching on here. We've got the two at the front, Chalmers and Turcolini, who we are still waiting to pit, so that will reshuffle the order again. But it's interesting to see where these drivers are falling after the stops.
So picking up Barker here in his black Ferrari. So he's currently in P15 after that pit stop, as you said. So he's got about 2.5 seconds to Mags, who also must have had something happen to him in that first stint, like you said, because he was, I think, ahead of Real at some stage, like battling with Taylor from memory. So being back in P14, he's got a bit of work to do as well, Mags. And just to remind you guys, there's a bit of a championship battle going on for P2, 3 and 4 tonight in Split Blood. So Keys are currently leading that from Tang, for I think about 4 points, if I'm not mistaken. Might be a little bit more. And we've got Mags not too far behind as well. So Mags will definitely want to, climb up the ladder there, I would imagine, to try and get back into P3 or P4 for his championship.
Yeah, it's a 17-point gap between Keys and Mags, with Sang pretty much bang in the middle of them both. So seems as though Sang's probably got the advantage at the moment if he keeps it nice and clean. Keys is doing everything he can to hold on to that P2, and Chris as well just needs to finish in this position. He'll be all good for P1. But yeah, the battle's starting to get a bit spicy. I think coming up to the next round of pit stops, we can start looking into the championship points a little bit more. I think we're still just a little bit far out for, well, personally, my liking. I mean, everyone's got their own opinions and stuff, but I think with one more round of pit stops, especially with all those stop goes that we saw and all the penalties and the incidents as well, not just running off the track, you still can see the grid shaking up a little bit more.
Yeah, 32 minutes is a lot of time in a short track like this, because it's only a 1 minute 20 lap time, so you tend to go around some of these tricky corners more often than you would probably want to, so a lot can happen, as you say. And what's quite interesting is we've got car number 78 Chalmers still out here. I don't think he's done a pit stop yet, so he's currently leading the race, but not in a net, because he still has to pit. But staying out for 30 minutes, I don't know if that's optimal strategy though. It will be interesting to see how that plays out for Pete. But I think he's also got a 15-second penalty, so we probably won't really know how that would have worked out. But an interesting strategy nonetheless.
Yeah, I guess we can take the 15 seconds off at the end of the stop and see how he goes. He is sitting in fresh air at the moment, which is, if you're doing that overcut, is exactly what you want. So, I mean, without that penalty, it's definitely ticking all the boxes. But yeah, a bit of a shame about that penalty. However, doing good regardless of that, as White comes in for his second pit stop. So very early, looking like he's going to go very long for this final stint. about 31 minutes, I'd say, after the pit transit. So
yeah, he's in that Falcon, I think 911 livery, which has been really good to watch all series. As we pick up Lucas Keys here, as we've got a spinner, I think it's Matterford at the back.
Yep.
Lost it out of that second to last corner.
Not the first to do it. I'm sure he won't be the last as well. Just drop that wheel.
No damage by the looks.
No, he's done well to keep it off the wall. But no, it looks like he's just dropped the tyre again, and as I said, won't be the last person to do that tonight.
Not an easy car around this track, as we've said before, and that's not the first time I think he's been off as well. So tough day out around Laguna Seca.
So we're just jumping back on board with Taylor up in P6. Got a pretty nice, juicy gap to Thistlewaite behind, and unfortunately, a big gap to Cooley in front, which is, I think it's an 8 second gap. There we go. So in a pretty decent spot. Not much more you can really do except for just hit your marks. He's in provisional P5 too after Chalmers pit stop.
Got another yellow out on track, car number 33.
Oh, it's this way. Oh. Wow, looks like he's. Oh, wow, that's hairy.
I have no words, because that was I was trying to commentate, and at the same time I was gasping for breath, because that was a lot going on over there. As unfortunately Thistlewaite just lost it there, and yeah, he managed to unfortunately tap, I think it was Real that came past there in the Bentley, and they made a bit of contact, and I think it was Lai behind who almost made contact as well, ran off the track, as Real is definitely, I don't know, he's got a lot of damage from him. He might come in for his pit stop now, I believe.
I think they've gotten away with it, honestly. It was a little tap. I wouldn't say the tap was too much to inflict a whole lot of damage, but could have been a lot worse for those two. And again, if I had a drink for every single time that someone has dropped a wheel and spun it, I would probably be off my face right now. So yeah. We've still got half of the race to go. So Real does come in probably to fix that damage. Put a fresh set of tyres on, probably a new pair of underpants as well. I know I probably would.
Yeah, so we got Thistlewaite here. He's, I think he touched that little inside edge as well, and yeah, unfortunately, just there's nothing he can really do. Has lighted really well not to run into the back of him there. I'm not sure if he made connection with the wall, but that was extremely well done. But I think he caught that little sausage curve on the inside, and it just spat him out onto the outside. And then, as you said before, you dip a wheel on the dirt, and you're a passenger after that. Oh no, you don't see it.
That's a fair bit. Looked pretty cool until then, didn't it?
I would like to see an onboard from this one actually, because I think he did extremely well to miss it. It was. That was insane. Oh, that was very unfortunate for Lai there.
Be feeling it too. That would. I think the geometry of the car would still be okay, but no, there'd be a bit of damage there. Slowing down, which is unfortunate again because he's been doing really well tonight in that McLaren. Oh, that's heavy.
He probably thought the GTR would probably head towards the other way, and as it just did that last pirouette, it actually went back the other way, so difficult to judge when you come, but I suppose backing out always earlier is probably the safe bet, but he's got a bit of damage. He hasn't pitted yet, Lai, so he's still out there, so hopefully the damage is not too bad. Side impact sometimes is okay to carry on. Is that how you would judge that probably, Ethan?
Yeah, I've had my fair share of side impacts. I had a massive one at Bathurst and I had about 30 seconds of damage. But, you know, it was on the side and the car still felt good. So just a bit slower in the straights, obviously, and around the turns you don't have the amount of grip that you probably would be after. But it's still drivable. The steering's still normal. The aero's not overly affected. So you can still push the car. But just a little bit slower in the straights, but fortunately we do not have a track with many of them. So
yeah, that's correct. As we've got in the chat, Sam just giving it up for Mr. Ben Vintner. Yeah, I've got to say Ben's doing a fantastic job in that Merc up in P2, leading the silver class at the moment from Keys, and not much in it to be honest. As Doe here, the Pro-Am, is in P10 now, sitting behind Thistlewaite, so he's managed to come. Oh, as I think Thistlewaite has gone off the. Oh,
it looks like a little bit of a net problem there.
He had me going. I was like, where is he going? That's the quick way to the drinks, man.
And a bit the ocean.
That's exactly right, and I think after Real did that other stop, Doe might actually be back in it, because if Mike had to fix damage on the back of that little incident, I think him and Doe might be quite close once Justin does his last pit stop. So it'll be interesting to see whether 888 comes out to the 71 a little bit later.
In a very good spot at the moment to take out this championship. He's done everything right. I haven't seen his name pop up with any incidents or anything. All he had to do was lap, all he had to do was finish. Hopefully the curse doesn't fall upon him. But doing everything he needs to be doing right now just to come home with that championship. As we do jump on with Vincent here, he's within about half a second on the back of that McLaren. We've got 4 front engine vehicles, I guess, for the front 4. I think they're all front, isn't it? Are there any of them mid engine? So I think they're so.
I think they would all be F1.
Like
yeah, I know. You're quite correct.
Yeah, they can be front. Who cares?
They're all curb hoppers. That's for sure.
Yeah,
they can all
eat the paint. But we've got the 2 Assens on the back of Vincent now. Vincent is soaking up this pressure very, very well. I know it's hard to soak that pressure up, but Cooley catching about a 10th a sector at the moment. After that hairy moment earlier, and P5 we have Taylor just holding that same gap to Cooley, maybe dropping about a second since we last spoke about him. So.
Yeah, take nothing away from Lucas. I mean, he's currently running in P3, but he's P2 in the championship as a silver driver, just behind Chris Cooley. I mean, that takes quite a bit of effort. He's been a really outstanding competitor this whole series, which is only 5 races, and we're in the final race now of 5, obviously at Laguna Seca. So, yeah, I think Lucas has definitely shown us that he's got what it takes to compete right at the pointy end, and he's keeping Ben really honest here, to be honest, as he takes a much shallower line through there, which makes him run very wide to the exit there. It's a very tricky corner, that rainy curve. It's very easy to, like you just saw, they run a little bit wide there. You have to get it come off the gas, but he's still on it. He's only, I think, about 0.5 or 0.6 behind Ben here, so keeping him well and truly honest.
Yeah, it's a very. You feel good when you get it right. There's a few corners in ACC that when you get them right, you're just like, yeah, that feels great, and that's certainly one of them. When you can carry maximum speed through there, is we do see Vincent taking a bit of a different line to Keys. Keys taking what I'd say is the more traditional line around the track, as Vincent working the Mercedes just a little bit differently through a few turns, but it seems to be working, so fair play.
Yeah, exactly. I picked that up as well. It looks like Lucas can definitely take some tighter lines through some of the corners. I don't know if the cars just play differently at this track, but as you said, Ben is still sticking ahead of him. So whatever they're doing is working, even though it's different. And that little corner there is obviously one of the key ones. I think probably one of the most difficult ones. That turn number 6 as they coming into the corkscrew here. Very good under the brakes there is that Aston Martin, as he pulled it up without hitting Ben. Really difficult when you follow somebody so closely, and he does that tight line again, and he loses a little bit of time at the exit of rainy curve there. And yeah, this battle seems like it's going to go on. I was going to say it will be interesting to see when they're going to come into pit with 23 on the minute and on the clock, as we've got Lucas coming in for his final pit stop.
He's very comfortable behind that car. He's hitting his braking markers really well, is key. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Vintner after the pit stop. Chris has seemed to have gained a little bit of time on that battle pack, so it's now only 2.3 to Vintner, so about half a second while they were going head to toe. As we jump on board with Barker on the back of Thistlewade, so a bit of a reverse battle packer from what we saw before. We did see Thistlewade have that wild, I guess, moment as we do see Barker coming into the pits. Does he pull it up? Ooh, got it just bang on, that's perfect. Thistlewade have that moment in, did he hit the wall?
Oh, that was close. I don't think he did, but that was. You don't want to be any closer.
Yeah, wow. Sorry, I keep going off track. We saw Thistlewade have that wild moment, going for the overtake, and yeah, props to him. That was pretty hairy, and he composed it very nicely.
Absolutely, as we jump on board here with Lai, who's now chasing Rashuti, who's made his way up to P5 and P6 here. And we saw Lai, we ran a little bit wide there earlier to avoid that other incident, and he himself's got a bit of damage, but it seems like he's been tracking along pretty nicely. He's only a second behind Rashudi here. I know there's a few people that's pitted. Of the people that they were racing, I suggest there's probably only Keys who's in front of him. So there's probably a net P7 here for Kevin. So doing really well. I think he's definitely up a few spots from memory. He didn't start in the top 10, I believe. So doing a really nice job here today, as well as Rashudi ahead of him.
Yeah, he's done a good recovery drive despite that damage, and so is Rashudi. As we can see, that was very hairy. You lose it coming through the corkscrew, and that's it. Vintner has pit from P2, so he will either be out as the lar comes in now, pulls it up, hits the marks, beautiful. I don't think a lot of people are going to make the same mistake twice if they got to stop go earlier. But
It looked like he wanted to pick up a bit more damage there.
A lot of them are running very wide, aren't they? Thistleweight in, Palmer in. So we're about to hit that 20-minute mark, and
Ben has just left the pits. It will be interesting to see where he feeds out now to the number 22, Lucas Keys. I think who's just coming around the final corner now. So it'll be interesting to see where they come out, because they were very close on track as well. As we're picking up here with Keys, who's sitting right behind Tawfiq, who's made his way past them as well, and they're sitting behind Damiano, who's I'm not
very
sure
tight. There's Vincent there. There's Tawfiq, and there's Keys. This is going to be a three-way battle. Four-way battle. Vincent holds them off. I think Keys is being caught up a little bit here. Oh, as he just touches the back of Thurkalini. But I reckon he's been held up a little bit here with that traffic, and he'd be spewing too, I reckon, if he would have gotten that very nicely. He's very, very hairy on the exit there, trying to get the power down as early as possible.
Yeah, the net winner there definitely was Ben. I think he came out just ahead of this little battle pack, and I think Tawfiq and Keys just caught Damiano at the wrong time there, who was obviously at that point running for position, so didn't have to get out of the way of these guys, who obviously is running net P2, P3, P4. And I think that just gave Ben the little advantage there that he needed. So as we see Lucas here, breathing down the neck of Turcolini to try and get past, to get on the back of Ben again. As that fizzled out a little bit. It looked like it was going to be 4 wide there at some point. That was some close racing.
Well, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, with that contact that we did see, not a lot, but that little contact we saw could have unravelled a whole can of beans that we didn't really want to see tonight. But so far so good, so far so clean as well. But yeah, as you did say, I reckon Ben has come out very nicely in this battle pack, and it's unfortunate for Lucas that he got held up with Thurkalini and Tawfiq battling. I reckon he would have gotten him, which is unfortunate. But that's motorsport, as Justin Doe is into the pits for his final pit stop of the season. Hopefully, no further incidents throughout the night. He's been very clean, kept the nose out of any trouble, and for the next 20 minutes, hopefully we can, in 20 minutes time, hopefully we can call him a champion.
That's absolutely right. I thought he might be a lot closer to Mike when he comes out pit, but I can see Mike is already into the Andretti hairpin there, and he's only just leaving the pit, so wouldn't be as close as I thought. So Mike did have a bit of damage. He might not have maybe fixed that damage, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is a really tight battle here. So Lucas is trying to find every way to get past Turcolini here, who's well and truly keeping him behind him, so good on him. You've got a silver driver here trying to get past the Pro-Am driver, and they're not on the same pit stop. And I think Lucas is getting a bit frustrated here because they're on different strategies, and he's trying to race the guy ahead of him, but he's got to get past the guy in front of him first. So as you can see, he's doing a lot of corrections in that car, trying to really get the best out of the car and get some good exits. But it seems like the Aston just have got no way past. He doesn't have an answer for Turcolini at the moment.
Yeah, it's a frustrating position to be in. I can feel his pain, and I'm sure you can too. We've both been in a position where you kind of come out not where you want to be, and you've been held up, not because of the slower driver as such, but the driver that you're technically battling for position, regardless of being on a different strategy.
Absolutely.
Hopefully find a way past. Very hard to pass around here.
And you want to do it clean as well, because you don't want to ruin the guy's races. Turcolini obviously just stepped it out on the exit and made it easy for Lucas, who would be very happy to finally see the Porsche behind him. As I just saw that Rochefort has actually picked up a stop-go there as well, so his night is going from bad to worse, unfortunately. So a bit of speeding in the pit lane by the looks to just, add some injury insult to the injuries there for Scott, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunate, as you said. P3 in the Pro-Am Championship. Don't know if he'll be there by the end of the night. We do have White, Thurkalini, Chris Murphy, is racing tonight, and Matama as well. Very close behind him in the championship, so hopefully he can, I guess, recover a few points from that stop-go.
As it's clear that Kevin hasn't fixed that damage, so we saw him hit the barriers, and I saw a little bit earlier he's got a bit of damage on the front nose of that McLaren, and he still carries it, so he's finished his pit stop, so he's carrying a bit of damage, and we've got Barker,
Just a bit deep there.
Yeah, I don't know if he lost it on his own there, or if Barker maybe gave him a tap. It was very close, but it looked like...
I think with a little bit of help there, the reaction of the car didn't seem very natural in a spin, so a bit unfortunate.
As we've got all the leaders in the pits at the moment, we've got Tang, Cooley in the pits, as Mags will take over the current lead of the race, as Ben Vinton and Lucas Key's already done their last pit stop. So I think Tang had a very commanding lead of probably around 10 seconds or so in the lead. Chris doing a really good job here tonight to consolidate that lead he's had since the beginning. Really, he took that lead from the first corner and hasn't looked back.
Yeah, the gap seems to have stayed the same since we last spoke about them 20 minutes ago. Both of them are coming out of the pits now. Vintner as well, coming down the main straight. So Chris Cooley was in P4 before the pit stops. It will be interesting to see where he comes out now as he just crosses the control line, and we might see him slot into that P3 if he doesn't hit the soil and end up facing the wrong way again. But it should be a bit spicy. I reckon we're going to battle for P2, P3, P4 now, and it seems as though he was slotted in very nicely behind Lucas Keys there.
Yeah, I think Chris will probably be a little bit angry with himself after that exit on the first pit stop, as Lucas ran a bit wide there, and I think he's going to give the advantage to Chris. They go side by side, no way through there on the outside, as he just backs off waiting for the tyres to come in, but Lucas is spinning it, lighting up the rears there, and under a lot of pressure here from the fast Chris Cooley, who was hunting down a potential podium position here. So all to play for.
Yeah, he'd be licking his lips, showing me it's not a lap later. I mean, the cold tyres wouldn't be helping his situation too much at all. But once the tyres are up to temp, the low fuel load, he's got the fresh set as well. I think we'll see him pass very, very soon. Looks like Keys is just having a bit of a hard time keeping the car on the track at the moment.
Yeah, they're in the same machinery, right? So it's going to be difficult to pass without a mistake. So, but it looks like Lucas is definitely fighting the car a bit harder. We were on board with him a little bit earlier, and we could see a lot of corrections in the car. So I think Chris, if he's just licking his, like you said, licking his lips for this little battle here, because I think he can see the car. When you can see the car in front of you that you're battling a little bit unstable and making a few little mistakes, it definitely gives you the incentive to hunt them down even more.
Yeah, and I mean, with that as well, we just do see Barker get that 10-second penalty for the contact on labour 4. But no, he's sitting there very, very nicely. We'll just wait for that mistake. We'll just push for that mistake. A very good, consistent driver that does recover from mistakes. And as these two have been battling, oh my gosh.
He went very deep through there.
Very. The gap to Ben Vinton in front has extended to 2.6 seconds, so he's extended that a little bit, got his tyres up to the temp that he is after, and has driven away, as Bonhomme has got a stop go 30 as well from, I'd say, his last pit stop.
We spoke about Chalmers a bit earlier. He was on that very, very long first stint, and he's currently running in P6, still with a pit stop to do, as well as Tawfiq, but he's only 4 seconds behind Tawfiq. So I would suggest that whatever he's doing in his strategy seems to be working for Pete there, and as he comes into the pit right now, and we've only got Tawfiq left to then do the final stop.
I think we're going to see him drop down a bit though, just looking at the gaps through the field. They're not too spread out from 8th to 17th. We'll see him drop a little bit, but yeah, Tawfiq with that stop go 30 earlier, with probably a bit out, that's probably where he should be, I'd say. But the stop-go, yeah, just ruins any race you have in an hour sprint.
Gotta admit, Thistlethwaite has been very entertaining tonight. That GTR has been all over the place, and he's in the hunt here with Rashudi. He's definitely on the back of him, and having a really, it looks like he's got probably the most fun race out there. He's been in a lot of really good battles, and he's had that little incident as well earlier. So, you know, I would probably so far he's probably had the most adventureful, if there's such a word, race.
Nah, we'll make it one. Yeah, been in everything, and we've seen him a lot as well. That bright pink GTR. Who's run wide there? Is that Lay?
I'm not sure, but it's a McLaren. Is it that Mags? Because Mags is not current. Mags is in P12. I don't know. It looked like the Mags livery, to be honest. I'm not sure who that was.
I think it might be a Lax car that we can't see at the time. Oh, it is Mags.
Yeah, not having the best race. I'm not too sure what happened with him during this race, but he's currently in P12. Probably have expected to see him a little bit up there, a little bit higher, as this battle is raging on for P10 and P11. It will be interesting to see also where Tawfiq feeds out once he does his final pit stop, as Pete, as we said earlier, with that long strategy has dropped him down to P17 at the moment, and we've got Mike Crick as the current leading AM in 18th. So a shout out to Godzilla. After that initial little spin, he's back into P18, so we're really well done to Mr. Crick there.
Sorry, just sort of correction. That was on home as well. There was a car between Thistlethwaite and Mags. But very interesting you say that about Mike. On home is currently behind Mike Crick in the championship, and I don't see any other AM drivers. So this is putting Mike in a very, very good spot to win the AM championship, as he is only 50 points behind Devin Laguna. I think I got it right that time.
I think you got it right, and I think I think Chris Tsang is just reminding us as well that he's still on the track as well. You know, doing a bit of a Verstappen, you know, just doing fastest laps, doing another one there, and currently leading the race quite commanding. But I think for P2 we had a position change. We've got Keys ahead of Ben at the moment, so a very interesting scrap going on at the head of the race as well, as we picked up Tsang. Yeah.
There's obviously been a mistake. It seems as though the gap from Chris to Keys is about the same, maybe a little bit more. But no, Vincent's made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, he's definitely lost that position, because Keys was trying to keep Cooley behind, as we saw when Cooley ran a little bit, you know, off track then. So Keys is doing a really good job here. Currently running P2, and is P2 in the championship as well. So consolidating that position if he can finish over there.
So we see Tawfiq come in for his final stop in the final 8.5 minutes to go of this race. Yes, he puts him right out, unfortunately. That stop go, yeah, just an absolute killer. But that 10 second, here's a replay of Victor. He's dropped a wheel or hit the curb. There it is. Oh.
Good old sausage curb. Gotta hate those.
Yeah, whack, and that's one you don't want to be playing too much with as well. That'll,
Good old sausage
yeah,
curb.
really rock your night, which it has.
Not even the Merc can run over those without it spitting you out wide, and he would be very upset with himself. I think he'll be spewing in that car right now, because he was running a really good race up, you know, leading the silver class up until that point. So, but it's all to play for still. We've got 8 minutes left, and as we're wrapping up this final stint of the 5th round of the Season 15 Sprint Series for Split Blood at Laguna Seca. As we got another yellow, I think it's car number 21 who's gone around on the way.
Has looped it, maybe dropped a wheel. He's got it going again. It's very easy just to drop a wheel and then end your race.
Coming out of that corner there with that rail straight is so difficult sometimes, and I wonder he probably just dipped the wheel out on the outside there as well. And that Porsche is not the easiest car to drive, I would imagine. So
Harry's clouded that curb on the inside coming up that's pushed him wide too. I mean, so many variables around that section of the track. So yeah, again, jumping over to the points, it seems as though the top 5 are going to stay pretty much similar. So Cooley, Keys, Sang, Mags, Tawfiq. Vintner might actually jump Taufik and Mags due to his very good result tonight. Justin Doe's in a beautiful spot to win that championship at the moment. Bit of a gap between Real and Doe, but the gap on paper is 70 points. I'm not too sure if that is a 70-point gap at the moment on track.
Yeah, I don't think that's enough. But shout out to Mike. I think he's doing a really good job in that Bentley, and we saw him earlier was involved in that little incident. To be up at P6 as the top pro-am is definitely, a fantastic effort.
He's making it work, and he's doing a really good job of it. I'm very interested in Mike Crick. I have a gut feeling that he's going to do enough. I'm not too sure. Let me see how many points he gets for 18.
Yeah, it's a tight battle for that AM, and so
just have a little fairy whisper in my ear. 36 points. So 36 points will see him. Let's do some math.
the mathematicians are busy doing their math. We can see we've got Cooley on the back of Internet as well now, so Ben under all sorts of pressure from the next Aston here, as Chris is spotting a definite podium position here and is going to make Ben work for this one, that's for sure. So Ben is under a lot of pressure here, so it'll be interesting to see if he can keep him at bay. As we said, very difficult track to pass, so I'm not sure if the hamsters have done all the math yet on that Mike Crick championship.
The math has been mathed. As we see Chris get a very nice run, all Vincent run a little bit deep, dropping a wheel again. Chris looking for that switch back. Vincent trying to park it on the apex there to slow Chris's exit down a bit. The math has been mathed, and Mike will finish second by 15 to 16 points.
As we see Ben doing a really tight line here, which will compromise him on this exit over here, but there's not a lot of spots to pass. You need a lot more of an overlap, and so I think Chris is just sitting back. So you said Mike will probably need a few more spots, is that right? 2 or 3 more?
We need a bit of luck from here. A couple of disconnects in front. I know you don't want to be wishing upon those things, but it's what's going to be needed within the next couple of minutes. We'll just fall short as the other AM drives. We'll jump from 5th to 2nd though, which is really, really good. But it's just won't have enough up his sleeves. Chris looking for that overtake, and the hairpin goes around the outside. Ben tries to squeeze him off the track, but just gets in the marbles there a little bit, which never is great when you want to put the foot down to exit a corner. Ben holding that position, doing a great job defending too.
Yeah, it's a longer track around the outside. Sometimes it works being able to brake a little bit later and having the guy on the inside compromise his accelerator, but in that specific instance that didn't work, so Chris trying everything at the moment to try and get past Ben. So Ben working really hard for this, as he seems to be running wide, as we see all night. He doesn't necessarily get all the apexes, and it looks like that Mercedes just does not want to turn in. Got a little bit of understeer all over the place, and really fighting hard for this podium position, as Chris has caught up already all that gap that he lost on that initial exit on T1, but lost it again by just stepping it out wide. I mean, it's such an easy track to just keep on making small little mistakes, isn't it, Ethan? It's really a difficult track.
Well, as we've seen, I mean, we haven't sat on board with saying for too much tonight, but we're seeing 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and everyone else below just making those mistakes, and those mistakes are the difference between being further up the road and not. Vincent's car does look a little bit less stable than it did in the previous stint, so maybe he hasn't quite got those pressures right. Oh, it does hit him.
No!
Now he's got around as well.
And he's hit the wall as well. That's very unfortunate for Ben.
If he can keep going, he should be able to hold P4 with 2 or 3 laps left. My math ain't mathing at the moment.
Yeah, he's got Chris Taylor coming up behind him, and I don't know how big the damage would be. He did hit, I think, the nose into it, which could affect the engine, so we'll see. Hopefully not too bad. I think Chris Taylor is probably a good about 5 seconds behind him, so Ben will be really upset there. He was running P2 for most of this race, and he had both Aston Martins come past him there. I'm not too sure what happened on that little incident. I missed the first part of it. I just saw him spin out there, so that's really bad for Ben, but he's still in P4, and we've got 2 minutes left. We've got another yellow flag.
844. Stercolini. Again, on the inside of the track, probably dropping a tyre there and it's spinning him across. No, Vintner, very unfortunate. The car did look very hairy, clouded the inside curb, and it's just pushed him off and tried to regather. That is a pretty big hit, probably looking at about 15 to 20 seconds at least, and he'd be feeling that too. But didn't look as stable as it did earlier. I'm not too sure if you noticed that or not. Looked very strong in front of Keys at the end of the previous stint, but this stint just doesn't seem to be working for it.
I agree with you. He's had a lot of understeer, and he just seems like he couldn't make a lot of the corners. So I don't know if he had picked up maybe damage somewhere prior in the race that caused that, but he's definitely been struggling to take the same lines that the Astons have, that's for sure. As the only other thing I've picked up is that Barker currently in P7 has got a 10-second penalty, and that will drop him down considerably because there's a massive battle pack right behind him in Lai, Thistleweight, Rashudi, Mags, probably Doe as well, will all hit past him with that 10-second penalty. As we see Mike Reel, number 71 with the yellow flag as well, something going on. We don't know where to look, it's just incidents all over the place.
Yeah, it's happening everywhere, isn't it? Yeah, Mike dropped back down to P8 there from P6. We'll get a position back from that penalty. Maybe just running off wide or something. Lost 8 seconds on that previous lap there to his best.
He's got 22 seconds on the clock. Do you reckon we'll get another lap in as the leaders has just come past the final corner there?
Absolutely flying. He's not going to slow down, even though he could, and he will still win. But no, right, if you're a racing driver, mate, which I know everyone is, you're going to do that extra lap. But no, a bit weird for real. Oh, again, drop the tyres.
Got car number 32. Yep. This could play into Mike's hands as well a little bit, because he might drop a few spots on the back of this. I'm not sure. He's not moving yet. He's on the side there as we see him going backwards. Definitely going the wrong side.
I'll let you maybe have a little ponder on how he's parked it there. Seems as though it was an exact replica of earlier. Yeah, just doing the right thing in a really sticky spot. A bit of damage as well. A lot of damage actually.
Yeah, and he's just gave himself a nice little whack on the rear wing just to make sure he doesn't do an unsafe rejoin waiting for the cars to come by. He's got a lot of damage on that car. Currently at P22. As we're on the final lap here, so it's been an absolute dominant performance by Chris tonight. Chris Tsang coming back after missing a couple of races, and would finish, I think, this race well and truly ahead of the pack tonight, and we're very proud of this performance. So it's good to have Chris back, and he's just obliterated everybody. So really well done to Chris.
Yeah, that's a dominant display. I mean, we didn't see him put a foot wrong all night. Got the fastest lap, which was a 21.8. Got the qualifying lap, which was a 21.7, I believe. So that's just nuts in itself.
Yeah, so we're going to wait 20 seconds for the next car to come past us. Lucas is lighting up the rears as he comes out of the final corner. We're really happy with that P2. He had to fight for that through the different pit stops, and then we had Chris Cooley here at P3 rounding up the podium, and Ben looks like he will stay ahead of Chris Taylor as well. Ben was running second for a bit of that race and unfortunately had a bit of an incident, but really still fantastic result. Third in the silver class as Taylor rounds up P5.
And Baker with that 10-second penalty coming for the last few turns at the moment. We'll see him drop probably to about P11. We'll see Mags get him. As Lai goes.
Yeah, I think Lai was
in the background.
He's now no, because he's now not going to get that extra position from Barker as well, as he's
lost a lot. Still losing time. Yeah, lost a lot here.
He's just getting some screen time, guys. I reckon he's just doing this for the sponsors. You know, he's got Moza on the back there on the wing, and trying to. That was
doing the whole hour and losing it there. But no, going back. So Barker would have dropped now to P10, and then we've got Real Thistleweight. So Real P6, Thistleweight P7. Whoa! What was that lag? Surely that was lag. What was that? Did you see that?
That's Cooley just doing Cooley things. I reckon we've got. That was a fantastic race. We don't know where to.
Yeah, wow.
That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. No time to talk about the track or anything else. Like, it was just. It was fantastic. And yeah, really just a couple of shout outs here tonight. I think if we maybe just run through, do you want to take us through, Ethan, the race classifications there?
Oh, for sure. So we got Sang in P1 with the fastest lap as well. Again, dominant display, 19 seconds in front of Keys in P2. Chris Cooley in P3. Vintner holding off Taylor for P4. Taylor P5, Real P6, Thistleweight, Rashudi, Mags, and Barker rounding out the top 10. We've got Do, Lay, Taufik. Oh, sorry. Do, Lay, Taufik, Hatama, and Palmer for that P15. Do we want to jump over to the Pro-Am? So, I guess we know. So, Pro-Am, Mike Real takes the win tonight with Justin Doe in P2. Very, very clean racing from both of them tonight. Unfortunately, we did see Real in a bit of a sticky situation earlier on. Palmer, Chalmers, Thurkalini, Rockford, Matterford. Did Matterford finish? I don't think so. Unfortunately, White and Sue with that early stop go. Jumping over to the AM Championship. Now we had Crick in P1 for the race and Bahome for P2 with that stop go as well, putting him right back. And would you like to do silver, Leo?
Yeah, we can go silver. So we got Keys from Cooley. So it's good to see the two Ks in a different order there for a change. So Keys got one over Cooley, and Ben in P3 with Thistleweight P4. We didn't see much of Tonkin tonight in the Lambo, but he made P5, Bishop in P6, and then Justman in P7. I think he probably also didn't finish that race. So so probably for the championship, I think Pro will probably be wrapped up there by Chris Tsang. I think he probably did enough to keep the Pro championship, and Cooley probably did enough for the silver. Is that correct?
Yep, Tsang got the Pro, Chris Cooley got the silver and the outright as well, so finished on top. And Justin Doe, I believe, has got the chocolates for the Pro-Am, did enough tonight, which is great. And the Am was Audi Devannagraya.
Oh, come on, get it out. Let's try again.
Okay, Audi Devannagraya. There we go. And we didn't see him race tonight, but looks to have just done enough for that championship in Am.
And that is probably the end of this little quick championship. So for those who don't know, we've got a couple of endurance races, a bit of an off-season coming up for OOR, well-deserved break. And yeah, we'll be back with a couple of very interesting races in the new year as well. And thanks for tuning in. And yeah, thank you very much, Ethan, for joining me tonight in the Combox.
No, thanks for your company, Leo. It's been lots of fun. Just a massive thank you as well to OOR for this year. I don't know if there's any more events on, but we've got North America and Europe to come. But no, thank you. It's been awesome. It's been great jumping in and out of the comms box throughout the past few months, and it's been great to come and commentate by your side, Leo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ethan, and thank you, Glenn, as always, doing a fantastic job behind the scenes. And it's been a really fantastic season and for everybody that's tuning in, it's been really good to have you on board as well. And see you all next year.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, guys. Great job.